Welcome to the Uptown Parlay podcast. We got Ace and Malik and Levon.
What's going on, man?
What's going on? Okay,
Chilling, chilling.
so we're going to get right into it. The major news of the day is Chauncey Billups, assistant coach Damon Jones, and current NBA player and 10-year vet Scary Terry Rozier have been arrested on sports betting and I guess money. No, he got charged with wire fraud and money laundering. Chauncey
Who's that?
Billups.
Billups?
Billups, and apparently Damon Jones was selling information to people, and he's in NBA circles, he's just kind of always around. He was working for ESPN. He's known to make bad decisions. His claim to fame, I think, was he on the 2016 or was he on the
Yeah, he
2016 Cavs
he was with the Cavs. He won a championship with LeBron.
with the Cavs or with
Um,
the Heat?
with the Cavs,
Okay, so he's
right?
one of the
Yeah, yeah,
championship
it was with the
Cavs.
Cavs.
I think I have to. Well, we'll fact check that later. But Malik, you were just saying about the investigation and why they did this now as opposed to doing it over the summer.
I just think it's fortuitous timing for, and I hate to get political on this show because it's
I don't
not
think it
this is
is.
no, I'm just saying this is not we don't talk politics here, but I think it's very fortunate for the current administration that there's something to kind of divert your attention away from all of the crazy shit that's happening with government shutdowns and no king's marches and all of this stuff that's going on.
Yes,
And
yes.
now it's like, oh, with all that shit happening, let's look over here at this random ass thing that's happening with these players. Let's go ahead and drop the game because here's the thing.
Hmm.
When Jonte Porter got arrested and that whole situation happened, in any other situation, in any other scandal or situation that we've seen, and it's just not the first, right? We've seen them regularly.
Mhm.
Um, when has the director of the FBI ever gotten involved? When did it actually include the director of the FBI?
Almost never. As a matter of
Right.
fact, do you remember when they arrested all those college basketball coaches for defrauding the schools because they were paying players?
Yes.
Okay. That I don't even think the US attorney at the time got involved. That was also in, I want to say 2017, 20, no, that was more recent than that. I want to say that was 2019, 2018. That was also under the same current president that we have now. So that's why I'm like, why are they so interested in this? And why are they so interested in like bringing this down? Because the coach of the LSU Tigers at the time, Will Wade, he was caught up in that. And he held on to his job for one more year, and then LSU ended up firing him. Now you can pay players legally. So I think that investigation happened, I want to say 2017, because it was 2020 or 2021, where they could finally start giving guys NIL money above the table, where they finally like lost that.
Right.
And
So
now
I
he's
mean,
the current head coach of NC State. Meanwhile, three people from the shoe companies went to prison who worked for Adidas, which I'm
was
just
that
like,
was
wait
that
a
did
second.
Sonny Vaccaro one of those guys? I think Sonny Vaccaro
No, but it was the guy
was
who used to work with Sonny Vaccaro back in the day. And
okay.
he was like a senior vice president. He went to prison. And then the guy who was considered a runner who was like, who showed them who to pay. And like, why would we give the money to the coaches? We give the money to the kids so that they go to the school. And then it was also linked to a guy who was supposed to be going to Louisville, who's caught up in a separate controversy about signing G League players, but that has nothing to do
Yeah.
with gambling. So not really talking about that, but I'll include that in my shout outs at the end. So yeah, this guy Will Wade is now the current head coach of the NC State Wolfpack. He
Which is
was the
that
former like, and then he still got back into coaching at some other Division One school. And he was like, "We're making guys a strong ass offer," which is what he was recorded saying. There's a whole HBO documentary about it.
what also bugs me out about this whole situation was the I watched the news conference or the press conference with the FBI, the director of the FBI,
Yes.
and him tying this back to, organized crime and him naming the so you saw I
The
believe
five
you watched it.
families.
He
Yeah.
named the five
Like
families
it
and
was an
all that
episode
stuff.
of The Sopranos.
Exactly. Like,
Yeah.
and here's the thing, it's
You forgot
2025.
one
Like
though.
if this had happened in 1994, it probably
Huge
resonates.
deal.
It blows up throughout the entire
Well, it's
country.
it's
Like
it's a big deal though to the league.
it's a big deal to the league. It's not a big deal to people, today's voters, today's people,
Yeah.
today's fans.
Yeah.
If you're not in your 40s or 50s, or you're not watching, you don't actively watch documentaries about like the 70s mob, like the mob, the New York Mafia, you
Yeah.
don't know who the hell they're talking about, and nor do you care, right?
So you're saying people in Atlanta, like, who's the Bonanno or Genovese crime family?
Who the hell gives a damn if it's not? Because you know what,
All
because
right.
today's, think about it, because today's, and that's what I said, today's gangs, like if you tied this back to like YN Melly or whatever the hell them dudes are, like then maybe there's a reason. But tying it back to the Bonanno
So
crime family, no, like nobody cares. The only people
yeah,
that give a shit about those things are the people that remember like those days,
I
who
don't.
harken back to the eras of organized crime. So when he said it, I just cracked up laughing because I was like, so this dude was sitting next to like Tony Two Eyes and like he was
So
doing,
you're
like we
imagining
all know.
everybody from Goodfellas.
Yeah, like we all know that the mob is tied into, gambling and has
Yeah.
been tied into Vegas since the beginning of Vegas,
Yeah.
right? Has
I
been
saw a
tied into
casino.
Vegas. Exactly. So we know this. So when you're telling us this, we're like, oh, well, he was legally gambling and the mob was included. Big deal. That's what they're still there.
It's what they do.
So like trying to like dropping the five family names as if that was like a big deal, to me, that's what made me laugh because I was like, 90% of the people that you just said that to have no idea what you're talking about. And anybody that does, we're too old to care or to even, we don't have any, it doesn't resonate, you know? I don't live in New York
Interesting.
anymore. I'm not worried about John Gotti and Lucky Luciano and all, like those are people I show my kids movies about those people nowadays. When you say these families, my kids don't know what the hell you're talking about. The majority of fans don't know what the hell you're talking about. So that whole thing was just hilarious to me. That's why I said
Uh,
this is just it's cute. He
Levon.
still might get fired, but
Oh,
whatever.
he's suspended. He can't do his job
He's
because
on leave.
also, well, I mean, Malik, what he's accused of, Chauncey Billups, is like it's not really affecting like the integrity of the game. Although they did say like the issue with him is he seems like a real stand-up guy and like he's a very good person. That's why everyone's surprised about him. No one's surprised about John Tay Porter, Damon Jones, or Terry Rozier, which I don't know them personally, but I guess they have that level of reputation in the NBA. From
Like
articles that I've read, the AP, the Athletic, other places have described him as that.
he's look like a
Uh,
shiesty ass dude. Like,
yeah. And Levon and Ant, feel free to chime in on this. Yeah, apparently, but he sold them information on whether or not LeBron was going to play in one game. And LeBron played that game and they all lost
mhm.
their bet. So they were pissed and they wanted their money back. So I'm like, so was he that dumb that he was just like, I'll just lie to these criminals and get away with it and they ain't gonna do nothing to me because I'm kind of famous and I'm a Lakers assistant coach. I can't come up missing. And it's like, wait a second. So you did do this, but you're bad at it. So is it like I don't know if he's going to beat these charges or not, but
Right.
it appears like he's very guilty. He is extremely well. He appears to have not alleged. We'll say this is alleged because I don't want anyone suing me, but this is alleged that he has committed these crimes. I'm like they're already talking about the evidence and piles of it. The Chauncey Billups thing is, why would he be at poker games, high stakes level poker games, where people would be using x ray machines and special contacts and glasses to see cards so that you could cheat people out of money who have a bunch of cash? And it's like, why would I want to play poker with Chauncey Billups? And also,
Thank you.
he's
Thank
worth
you.
$60 million.
That
Why is he doing this with
that was that was the thing that made me crack up.
what? What's
LeVar,
going
and
on?
did y'all read the excerpt that I sent in the chat? I sent the excerpt in the chat about like what was going on, and they said that Chauncey Billups was being used as kind of like the face or the
Oh
front,
yeah, I saw that on ESPN. They was talking about he's the face or whatever
and
to,
he like
to
went and
distract
sat
people.
in, and he went and like sat at the table, and like he was hobnobbing with the people at the table and stuff like that. And meanwhile, like everybody was getting all the people at the table were getting, um, were getting cheated out of their money. So he was
Yeah,
part of it because of that. So I was sitting there like, I was like, is Chauncey Billups the celebrity that could get me to not pay attention to what's going on the table? I was like, that's not the celebrity that I'm thinking of that could get me to like not pay attention to the fact that I'm losing thousands of dollars on the poker table.
yeah. I don't give a fuck about him being here. Like
I don't
whatever.
care about Chauncey fucking Billups. Are you kidding me? Like, y'all gonna have to come correct with a better superstar than that. Oh man, I thought that was hilarious.
Chauncey Billups, you're right. Maybe in
H,
Detroit.
you're muted.
Hmm?
How
Oh
famous?
yeah,
Yeah, sorry. How famous is he that I'm going to be like, I did just lose a hand for $50,000 because I had a full house, but I didn't realize that guy had four of a kind because they've been cheating, and they're like, and then also the automatic card machine. You set that up so it could read the cards as it was shuffling, so you knew what was going to come out when. I was like, I didn't even know that was possible.
I don't know even know why you need all that. If you want to be cheating, you need Chauncey Billups to be the main part to distract you and all this extra
That's
stuff.
the part.
You're already cheating the person out.
Why did they even need him to do this? To Malik's point, it's like, okay, cool, he's here, nice. Maybe I'll play a hand against him.
It's
Um,
like for us for Knicks fans, for the guys in New York who was there,
Patrick
Iman
Ewing's at the
Shumpert.
table. Okay,
No,
cool.
Iman no, Patrick Ewing, Iman Shumpert. He have him over there.
No,
Like, who gives a fuck?
no.
Like,
And
who
then
cares?
the guy from that podcast, was it 2022 or 2023? Yeah,
22.
2023, 2022. They've
Yeah.
known about this. They heard about this in 2019 with his friends he's a professional poker player, so he does this for a living. And the game started in LA and it went to Vegas. And it was a home game. It was high stakes. And I'm like, but that's the whole reason. That's why I sent that clip of Nick Wright. He plays a lot of high stake games. That's why you go to a casino. So you
Right.
know the game is legit. That somebody
Right.
isn't dealing from the bottom of the deck or cheating you.
Right.
Or like has an X-ray machine on the apparently under the green felt reading your cards before you pick them up.
I mean, any type of gambling with money, the only two places I'm going to go is I'm going to go hanging out with y'all to do it because guys are my friends, or I'm going to go to like you said, a legit casino in Vegas
Yeah.
or in Atlantic City. I ain't or some Indian hotel. I'm not going to go to some shady thing from the back door, or whatever. No Diddy, and use them. No, that make no sense.
It just
And
seems,
Get to
yeah.
see Chauncey Billups. Who cares?
That's
and
the
the
part
crazy
that I'm
thing
like,
about the other thing about it was when the guy was saying that all of the people that he was the guy that was doing the podcast, all of the people that went to this thing were professional players. Like they were
yes,
also pros
Wow,
who played, right?
they should have
So
known
yes,
it's
better.
like, so the people who were getting swindled are pro poker players, and they were getting
yeah,
beaten
Well,
by
Chauncey Billups, the rest
random
of
ass by random ass people, like non-professional people
that
correct.
should
Who
have told
they've
you
never
something right
seen
there.
before.
that they've never seen before, non-professional people they've never seen before, and they were getting beaten in poker in the thing that you play, the thing that you're a professional at. So I said, this is like, and that's why I was even saying like, this is like you're a professional pitcher. You pitch professionally. This is what you do. And you go and you stand on a mound and you go and pitch and you go and I hit a home run off you. Something's wrong. Something's really wrong. If
No, no.
me
I could believe that, but if
and
I was hitting
no,
the
but I'm
ball,
just saying
my fat behind was doing it,
if
then
me
something's
and
wrong.
Anthony and Levon and Aaron, if the four of us go up to the mound and Blake Snell or one of these like these high level pitchers, freaking what's the dude's name from the Yankees? That been
Garrett
drawing a blank
Cole,
on, huh?
Garrett Cole,
Yeah, Garrett Cole gets on the mound, and we start hitting doubles, lacing doubles and home runs off of him.
just hitting it
Something's
450,
wrong. The
dead
Dude,
center.
ball, something's wrong with
see
the
me coming up Barry
ball.
Bonds in it.
Something's juiced. Okay, you
Also,
don't
I'm Barry Bonds in the
lose,
home
man.
runs.
Yeah, like so when that was happening, it was like at no point in time did all of y'all be like, "All right, hold the fuck up.
Like
Something's
something
happening here.
wrong
I'm a
here.
professional poker player and I'm losing to Johnny over here." Like, nah, that's not cool.
Johnny and Pookie.
So, I mean,
Meanwhile, you have a WSOP bracelet, and you're like, "How is this guy beating me?"
it's crazy. It's crazy. So it's
Wow.
just,
But he
you
also said
know,
they kept going back because they thought the game was legit, and they thought
Why?
these guys were so bad that they could win. And I'm like,
Oh,
apparently,
see, that's some dumb shit right there. You thought you decide to go back. You got swindled once, all right, whatever. You might be drunk or whatever. They spike your drink, whatever. But you decide to go back because Johnny Pookie beat you over there. No, you don't go back.
there's but so much dumb luck you can have before I realize that you're cheating the shit out of me. But I'm curious to see what y'all think, and maybe Levon, this is where bring you into the conversation in terms of the impact on sports in general as it pertains to the sports betting, not so much the poker side of it, as it pertains to the sports betting piece of it. What do you think is the impact on, the NBA, if any? Do you think there's any impact on the NBA? Or is this just gets just like this swept under the rug like every other scandal that's ever happened?
Um, it only if it impacts outcomes of games and meaningful games, but every game is meaningful. If Rozier was purposefully, and I think I heard something along the lines of where he was faking an injury, but he's Terry Rozier. But
He
at the
pulled
same
himself out
time,
of
I
a
mean,
game or something like that,
yeah,
but they
he's
had to hit
relevant
the
to the
under.
point. He faked an injury to take himself out of a game to affect his own prop betting.
he
So
was with the
something like
Charlotte
that,
Hornets. Yeah,
yeah, something like that is like your own prop betting until it affects the outcomes of games, then it's just basically a gambling thing. But now that the NBA and gambling is legalized, it's money, it's revenue, and whatever there's money and revenue, it matters. But from a pure sports side of it, a sports enthusiast, my chief concern is the competition and the integrity of the game. Yes, it holds little water until something comes up where it's to that extent. Like they revealed that it wasn't Rozier, it was Giannis. And
Right.
Giannis, the whole time he was supposed to be injured, was really okay. And he did that to tank games and not affect, the outcome of some playoff series, or if a referee gets involved. And referees are directly responsible for the outcome of games. Outside of that,
so closer to what happened with Tim Donaghy then.
yeah, much closer to that. Outside
Yeah.
of that, I mean, I saw all of the talk, and it's talk because it's a coach. But then even Chauncey, it was just, he was cheating and gambling. And the FBI said this encompassed multiple years of investigations across 11 states and 30 different people, which makes it a ring, which
Right.
makes it a lot like organized crime. And there's more than organized crime than just, the Gambinos or whatever else we just laughed at. But, they got organized retail crime. And that kind of mass organized malfeasance is a detriment to our society. It creates a problem when we let people, commit mass fraud along those lines. That's why the FBI cracks down on things like that. So it's a legitimate problem, but how it affects sports, I'm not going to act like I look too deep into it, but until it affects the integrity of the games, and that's not just because I'm pretty sure it's not just basketball. Pretty sure the people deeply involved in this, wait, does gambling stop at basketball? I'm pretty sure football's involved, baseball. I mean, any sport, boxing, who knows?
Definitely.
They just touched on the basketball side of it because those are names that we can recognize and grab onto. That's why it's even news. If it wasn't Billups and Rozier, it wouldn't even be something we're talking about. So I'm more of in a wait and see what else comes from it, and if this even has legs past this week. But yeah.
I don't know if I
Yeah.
talked about this before I got on because even though my computer was on, I was not nearby. But for Chauncey part, does that make any sense? Because this dude's a head coach right now, right? He's an active head coach.
Yeah.
The
Well, was
accusations go
active,
back to 2019 before he was a head coach.
but he was doing something in the NBA.
Yes, and also, did he
For
know? Oh,
ESPN, he
and
was
also, there's an accusation that he told people about players not playing.
Yeah, I heard
They
about the
like
LeBron thing.
remember when no, well, the LeBron thing had to do with Damon Jones, who was selling information, but LeBron played a game that he said LeBron wasn't going to play.
You
So
can ask for the
clearly,
money
David
back.
Jones was just lying to people
Mm.
because he had to, and he had a gambling issue and he owed these guys money. the Chauncey Billups thing doesn't mention that. So it makes me think, did Chauncey know that they were cheating? If he did, then he's just stealing money from people, which seems odd that he would want or need to do that, given his
It's no,
reputation and
I don't
level of
know.
wealth.
I don't mean to cut you off. There's no way the FBI would name Chauncey Billups if they did not know that his involvement was intentional. There's no way to have named him if he was just somebody sitting at the table and he could claim, I had no idea this was going on. They even said the role he played as a face.
But they said there were other people too.
Yeah,
which means there were other famous people there. So why haven't we heard those names?
Well, they're probably not names worth saying.
Which means Chauncey is the most famous person who was there.
They don't have to reveal everything. They chose to reveal what they chose to reveal. And I heard that there was another person affiliated with the NBA that they chose not to name, who was also involved in this.
Well, for all we know, the only reason they naming Chauncey is because he actually laid down the groundwork, and whoever
he
might snitch, there might be the snitch behind this whole thing.
Yeah, who knows why?
They spill the beans and say Chauncey is a part of it. He knows the steps. He knows he's supposed to be there to be the distraction or whatever.
That's for the FBI to know. They know.
I can't imagine it's just going to be limited to these 4 people. The Dejounte Porter, he already pled guilty. He's banned for life.
Oh, it's definitely not limited to this. But it's like the NBA invested Rozier years ago and they cleared him. They said that,
and they allowed him to play last year. Correct.
And they let him play. And then I heard earlier today somebody wanted to blame the NBA. I think it was Charles Barkley. He said the NBA dropped the ball because all they had to do was call the FBI. I was like, Charles, that just goes to show he knows nothing about law enforcement or the legal system. Just because you call the police or you ask the police for information, they're under no obligation to supply that to you.
But why would the FBI want the NBA to let this guy continue playing so that he could do more?
They're building a case.
They're building a case.
They building a case
because once it's announced to the public, he must know. Oh, they know about what I did.
No, but he was clear. That's the NBA. That's not the FBI.
That was the NBA investigating. You're right.
That's not the FBI.
No. What I'm talking about.
The FBI lets people commit crimes while they're investigating all the time. It's called building a case.
That makes perfect sense. But what I'm saying is, once the NBA starts investigating him for gambling and giving up information and allegedly affecting the outcomes of games, why would he? There's no benefit. He must know that the FBI also knows.
No, I can't speak.
If it's announced to the public,
we can't.
He should be concerned.
We can't speak to that man's temperament or his mental IQ that he says, "Oh, they're on to me and let me stop." Maybe he figured that once they cleared him, he was like, "Oh, they cleared me. They must not know what I'm doing," and he kept doing. Who the fuck knows?
The thing is that with these big leagues like the NBA and the NFL, whatever, they have their own internal investigations. If they call it clear, he's going to think that, hey, they call it clear. I'm done. I'm free and clear. Whatever, I can do whatever I want. Well, he may lay low in a minute, but he decided to come back.
Well, I mean, we've seen this in other in other situations, not just gambling situations, but we've seen this in other situations where there's a league investigation or a league precedent that's investigating a particular thing, and then there's a legal thing, right? Then there's a legal piece that goes hand in hand with it,
right? Or
might be completely separate from it. So, if you get into a car accident, if you're driving under the influence or something like that, there's the potential suspension from the league, when they investigate what you did and what the situation was. And then you may or may not get suspended by the league, but you still may go to jail for, whatever the crime was. We saw that with Ray Rice. We saw that with, with other people. So
dude from the Raiders,
that could be exactly what happened in this situation, Ace, where the NBA didn't, with whatever available information that they had, they didn't find anything that was against the laws or the rules of the league, right?
It was affecting the outcome of games.
Right.
But maybe people had information about whether or not he was going to play.
Right. But it doesn't mean that what he was doing wasn't illegal or didn't have legal ramifications on the other side of it. So, but I understand where Levon's coming from about the wait and see approach of this, because this type of situation has happened so many times over there. The biggest memory I have of this the biggest time anything that's really made real waves was the baseball scandal, the steroid scandal with baseball, that.
What about Shohei Ohtani and his interpreter, who
owed
$40 million out of nowhere?
But baseball continued to play, and Shohei won the damn World Series right after that, right? And now
Yes, and that just
you
got
know, so
swept away.
and nobody cares, right? So that's what I'm saying. Like in terms of these things happening, like these things seem to creep up every few years, and they show they rear their ugly head. It's the ugly side of sports. But to Levon's point, if it's just Terry Rozier, if it's just Chauncey Billups, and again, I separate those two things in terms of what Chauncey did versus what Terry Rozier did. But if it's just Terry Rozier, it's not. It's going to be here and gone because who is Terry Rozier really? He's a 10-year pro. We know who he is.
No,
The
I
vast
don't.
majority, Miami Heat fans know who he is. Charlotte Hornet fans may know who he is, but
He
the
was pretty
vast
good with the
majority of
Celtics
people,
before he left.
yeah, I mean, but the vast majority of casual fans of the basketball, they're not going to know who he is. Now, if we find out Steph Curry's doing the shit,
Yeah, that's
right?
when it's like, oh,
Then the league has a problem,
yeah,
right?
that's the
Then
face.
the
That's the
league
face of
has
a
a major issue
franchise.
because the other part of it is once you name, and this is what LeBron was getting at for me. It was like what I was getting at was like once you name Steph Curry, that starts to put other names because he's connected to other players,
I think it's
right?
kind of reckless to just throw a name out there, but I get what you're saying. If it's a bigger name or more famous of a player, it matters.
And
But
because
also,
you
it
know
matters
that
if there's coaches involved giving out information to people.
right. What I'm saying is like once you attach a bigger name to it, that bigger name has bigger moments connected to them, has bigger games connected to them. LeBron James plays in the playoffs every single year. Steph Curry plays in the playoffs every single year. If
Mm,
Terry Rozier played 50 games last year, I wouldn't know. Like I wouldn't have known. So it really depends on the who and how deep this thing goes. It's the who at the top. Then we'll be like, okay, we may really spend a lot of time digging in on this and trying to figure out more information because of that first name, that first person, that first name that gets dropped.
I did see something. I mean, it matters if it's, like I said, the integrity of the game. If Billups is intentionally trying to tank games because there is some.
Well, Billups has said it's just with the poker thing. Nobody
No,
said
I
anything
did
about
hear
the other
something.
games.
Like I said, it's more. It's a lot to it. I
Billups
did
gave
hear something.
information about the Portland Trailblazers when they were tanking to get Wembanyama, and they ended up with the number 2 overall pick.
I think that's what I heard.
For
I just didn't
their
understand it.
last 17 games that season, I believe it was the 2022 season, because
Yeah.
this is Victor's third year, Wemby's third year, right?
Yeah.
So
But
it's
everybody knew they were
2025.
tanking that year.
Exactly. But
Okay.
he told them, apparently, he said he might have mentioned in passing to someone, we don't know if he intentionally gave this guy the information or sold it to him. But that's why he's not charged along with the sports betting. But I guess somebody played on that information because unusual betting patterns popped up where they just started betting against Portland heavy because they knew they were trying to lose because all of their starters weren't in the lineup. But then
Now,
you just
see
would have noticed that.
how
You could have
that
just paid
matters.
attention.
The gambling part of it, I throw away. But how, to me,
But that matters to gambling because if I know you're not playing your starters and you're trying to intentionally lose so you can get the first overall pick, well, then if I know you're going to lose, I can just bet against you heavy.
Okay, so
and
like
I
I
can make
said,
money.
throwing out the gambling because that affects
It affects
gambling.
both.
That's greed. But to the point I'm trying to make, tanking is not allowed in the league. It is against the rules. It is something we know teams do. Harley can prove it, but if you are caught doing it, it costs you. So if he has information that Portland has been given orders or he's been given orders to tank, and they actively did that at some point in time, then that goes to the integrity of the sport. That's something that needs to be enforced because it's breaking the rule of the game. Now, the gambling part of it, whatever part of it that is, as far as whatever who that affects, I don't know. But the tanking thing is an issue. We're not supposed to have tanking in our sports. It's something fans talk about, radio shows and whatever podcast. But that is not something that is supposed to be happening in sports. So if it is proven that he knew that Portland was tanking, and they can tie that to the organization, the owners, the players, the coach, that to me makes this a lot more interesting, in my opinion.
I
Something to
just think
follow up on.
it's so like to your point earlier, it's so difficult to prove.
I mean, you proved it then. I mean, if they go to him and they say, okay, whatever the FBI does, it's 30 years unless you let us know about this tanking situation. Who gave the order? Was it real? How can you prove it? He starts naming names, giving examples of stuff he did,
Well, yeah,
taking out
somebody has to
players.
talk. Right.
Yeah,
Somebody has to
saying,
talk
"Oh,
and
this
say
player didn't
yeah.
play. We said he was hurt, but he was really fine. We didn't play him because we knew we were going to lose this game." That we need to find out about. And then, then people really get to start talking and players start to say, well, I did this when I was over here too. We did this while we was over here too. Because tanking is a thing. Dallas needs to pay for that shit still, in my opinion. The Kristaps Porzingis thing. That to me,
What do you mean, Dallas? Oh, where they pulled them out of the
yeah,
game so that they could get a draft pick.
when we had Kristaps and they purposely lost those games so the pick didn't convey.
Yeah.
I'm convinced they did that. And teams tank all the time. The Spurs tanked for years. That's why they've got Wembanyama and Castle and all those other high draft picks. I mean, that's something. I mean, the
Wemby got
gambling,
hurt.
money's involved.
Yeah.
When money's involved, livelihood. It is what it is. It's the world we live in. But it's rich people arguing over disposable income. So I'm like, fuck off. At the end of the day, it's like rich people are fucking over disposable income because they're playing a game and they're betting on it and they're trying to cheat now. It's like, do what you got to do with that. If I was in the FBI and I knew more about it, if it reached deeper than that, like if lives were at stake, people would get murdered or who
I mean,
knows
they're
what.
probably the idea is that they had people under pressure, which is why they were giving them this information.
Truly.
Yeah.
So
what's
that's
that
why,
called?
and that's
Extortion?
why you mentioned.
Yes.
That's why you
Extortion.
mentioned all the crime families, because again, it's connected back to a memory of what that used to be.
Yes.
Right. And that's
Yep,
how you
yep.
bringing those names into the situation adds a level of intrigue.
It brings up
it just
what's that movie? Sorry, Blue Chips.
Blue Chips.
Remember that college basketball movie about
I
how they
watched Blue
paid the
Chips
guys to
many
go
times.
there?
Yes.
Yeah.
with Shaq
And he said, "Oh, I already own players on your team. You don't even know." When he says that to Nicholas
Nolte.
Nick Nolte's character, the head coach of Western University, which is supposed to be UCLA.
Yeah.
And his best player had already gotten paid.
Yeah.
And he thought Tony was shaving points, that guy, that character. And I'm like, that's crazy. And there was a point shaving scandal in the early 90s with Arizona State.
Yeah.
They got to the point guard.
Documentary about it.
Exactly. And they made a movie about it with Michael Imperioli, actually.
Real thing.
Yeah. So if it gets to that level, the NBA has a huge problem. And David Stern was like, I cannot believe a ref got caught up with this in 2007. And now it's back again. And the only reason why they caught this is because it was legal. Because people were going bananas with Jonte Porter over unders. And they were like, what's going on? And then I guess with Terry Rozier, you could do the same thing. He checked himself out of the game, but then he never played the rest of the season. Now he's saying he's completely innocent. He's been bad consistently. He got a lot of shots in Charlotte because they were a bad team, but he's been consistently terrible. Not good, I should say. Not terrible, but not good compared to other NBA players. So is he throwing the games? How do you tell if someone's throwing games in Charlotte? How do you tell if someone's throwing games on a bad team? Because the team's already bad. Like, how do you figure that out as the NBA?
That's why you talk about props. That's why you talk about, like, not necessarily throwing games, but fixing props.
Yeah.
Point shaving, point spreads, things like that. When you have the ability to, if I'm not playing, like, so, we're Knicks fans, like, if Jalen Brunson is out there playing and he decides to sit and, Pacome Dadier decides to goes into the game, that 9-point spread might not hit, right? That 9-point, like if he plays, Jalen doesn't play the next 5 minutes, we might, that 10-point
lead turns into a 3-point lead,
4-point lead, and then we win by 4, but we don't cover the spread. And so the reality of that is it's a possibility, but again, it's so hard to prove unless people start talking. And
well, they'll be compelled to now to not go to federal prison because they're looking at more time than what Diddy got, which is wild to me.
Yeah,
but I guess there's more serious implications.
Well, Diddy was only convicted of, basically being a, soliciting prostitution.
Only. Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
That was what he was convicted of. So
correct. Also,
convicted of all the other things that he did.
in terms of college sports,
allegedly.
Yes. No. Well, in terms of college sports, if you're a college athlete, you can now bet on professional sports. So please tune in to the Uptown Parlay podcast on Spotify or wherever you get your information. We'll
Absolutely.
be going over our NFL picks in a moment.
I'm gonna roll in.
Malik, can you hit them with the recap of our picks from last week, as Levon
Yes.
would love you to do?
It was a good week. I mean, we had a really good across the board. We had a really good week. Week 7, I will say, was our best week as a collective. Um, so I'll just go with the week's numbers. So Ace, you went 7-7, but you went 4-1 on your locks.
Yes, I
Ant
did.
went 10-4.
Ta-da!
He went 10-4 overall. He went 2-3 on his locks.
Yeah, because I picked the
I
hard ones
all
on like Ace.
I also went 10-4. And I also, just like Ace, went 4-1 on my locks. And Levon went 8-6 for the week, but he was 5-0 on all of his locks. So of all
Whoa!
of us, Levon hit on every single one of his locks.
And that's
And
what
he didn't pick no
matters.
easy ones either.
Very impressive week.
No, he did though.
Uh,
That's how he got to 5-0. He followed my strategy.
Pick the easy ones.
You play to
I'll
win
let
the
him defend
game.
himself on that
No,
one.
it's a negative. I don't follow your cowardly strategy. Let me see what my locks
How
were.
dare you?
My
Your
locks for
your
last
locks,
week.
I can tell you.
No, I got them. I got my
Oh,
locks.
okay.
I locked in the Chiefs, which was an easy one. The Eagles, which was also an easy one. And I think the Giants was not, because a lot of people had the Giants getting destroyed on the road and
But I
losing by
didn't.
more
I
than
didn't have the
6.
Giants because Sean
But a lot
Payton's
of
a
people
fraud.
did. Well, did you lock
It's
it
funny.
in?
The four of us put the
No.
Giants.
Did you
The
lock
four
it
of
in?
us.
No,
Ace
but
did
we
lock
all.
the Giants.
I did.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That goes to my point. You did not lock in the
I
Giants.
did lock
No,
it.
he did
Malik
lock the
just
Giants.
said that.
Ace locked the Giants.
He did. Well, he did lock in the Giants?
Yeah, he did.
Oh, okay.
You and Ace
And
locked the Giants. Ant and I picked the Giants, but we didn't lock it.
and the Seahawks I locked in that game where they ventured out. So I tried to pick one dangerous lock, but I did go with what I saw to be 4 pretty easy ones in Chiefs, Eagles, and Patriots and Seahawks. And took one risk. I like to take at least one risk, if not 2.
Mm.
So, but having that good week for the season has sent us all towards better statistics there. So now, for the season, Ace is at 47-54. Ant is at 56-45.
Nice.
I'm at 49-52, and Levon is at 50-51.
Oh,
And for our locks, Ace is still sitting pretty at 60%, 21-14 on his locks. Ant and I are both at 16-19.
Yes, I
And
am.
Levon is at 17-18. So we're all really close to hitting that 50% benchmark, which, actually Ace is over that 50%. He's well into 60% benchmark, which, for sharps, all of the bigger betting, channels out there. If you're hitting 60% on your bets, you're doing something good. You're doing
I'm
something
aiming for
well.
70%. We got to do 70%. Or
No,
70%?
that's great.
Okay.
Look,
yeah,
if
we got to
can-
do 70%. Or what are we
if-
doing this for?
If we can do 70%, then we should be charging for this. Like, seriously, like if we're
Yeah.
hitting 70% of our bets and our locks, we should be charging money for this, because the pros out there, the pro bettors out there, the pros out there that get paid to do this, they hit 55-60% on an average over the course of their season.
All right.
We're hitting 70%. We're in the wrong business.
All right.
But I digress. So let's get into week 8. Right now, we're watching the Chargers in their 1990s uniforms, which is probably my favorite Charger uniform.
Powder blue or the navy
Yeah.
blue?
No, they're in the navy blue.
Wearing
I'm
the
actually
Natron
watching
memes.
Indianapolis versus
Natron.
OKC. They're in overtime.
Yeah, the Natron.
Oh, are they?
Yeah, they're in
Yeah,
the
right
Natron
now
memes.
Indy is winning.
Nice.
Wait, what are you watching it?
He's watching the basketball game.
I'm watching Indy versus OKC. And they're in
Oh, really? There
overtime
was a
right
game.
now
I couldn't find it. Okay.
It's on
on
Um,
ESPN.
ESPN.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
I don't
Alright, so
remember
right-
these uniforms having numbers on the side of the helmets, though.
Yeah.
I don't
Stan,
remember.
Stan Humphries and them boys.
Yeah, I don't either.
I don't
But
remember
just remember
LT having 21 on the side of his helmet.
yeah, I
Those
don't
were the
remember that.
throwbacks for the 70s, I want to say. But these are the 90s joints. They did. They had the lightning bolt and then they had the number on one side.
Yeah, I was alive during the 90s. I remember watching. And like I said, I
I don't
don't
think I remember the
remember
numbers either, but
LT scoring with the number on the side of his helmet in
You know,
white.
you know what the
Don't
great thing about that is? We have the
recall that.
internet and we can Google things.
Yeah, we can. I guess when we're done, I might do that because I'm looking and watching this, and the uniform does look familiar to me. But for the life of me, I don't remember Phillip Rivers with a 17 on the side of his helmet, and I don't remember 21 with a
but then
17
yeah, no, that's
on the
true.
side of his
That is
helmet.
true. That is
I don't
true.
remember it, but Ace says he does. So
Of course.
there's that.
12 games on the slate this week. Starting with and no London games, so no 9:30 games. Boo.
No.
Nice.
No games.
Wait, isn't that game in Madrid this week?
No.
No, the next overseas game I
Oh,
believe is November 9th.
Because there's
Yeah.
two more left. There's two
Just to
more.
let you know,
Yeah, there's
LeVon,
two
I
more left.
Googled it and Ace is wrong as usual with his fuzzy memory.
I mean, that's what I thought, but it's
How
okay.
dare you?
I mean, your childhood memories, they stick. I don't remember seeing that. But
Hold on.
let's move.
Well,
let's move
We,
on.
let's move on. Let's get
Let's
the first
move
There's a
on.
game.
1995 San Diego Chargers football card of Andre Coleman.
Oh
Yeah.
no, I can't
What-
see that. We can't see that.
Okay, well, that's because my
Your,
Zoom isn't
your
working great.
filter.
This guy
Number
didn't know this.
83 with the number on the side of his head. I'm gonna send that.
Are
to the
you
group
sure that's
chat.
not just for one game, like a throwback,
Hey,
or
brother,
is that for
he
the
had
season?
it. I seen it.
Well, they weren't doing
Your favorite player,
doing
Antonio
throwbacks in
Gates,
the 90s?
played.
Yes, they were.
Your
They were
favorite
doing
No,
player,
I'm
Antonio
not saying
Gates.
they did it in the 2000s. I'm saying they did it in the 90s.
Wasn't Gates on the team in the 90s?
How old do you think he is? We were in college at the same
Antonio Gates,
time.
No.
No. We were in high school in the 90s.
No,
Antonio Gates wasn't on the
Antonio
Chargers.
Gates
Okay.
and me were both in college at the same time. He's like a
Oh.
year or two younger than us.
Gotcha.
LaDainian
Gotcha.
Tomlinson.
He was in the league in 04 to like 2013 or something.
LaDainian Tomlinson got drafted in like 01.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. There you go. All right. So Ace is probably right then.
It's
Those
the
are
90s
2000
Chargers, not
uniforms.
the
I'm thinking.
2000s one. Yeah.
Those
the
are
90s
2000.
ones.
Those
That's why
are
I said Natron Means and Stan Humphries and Lorenzo Neal.
Yeah, when they played the Niners in the Super Bowl, my
Yes.
memory might not be that good, but I still don't remember the numbers being on the side of the
I
helmet.
mean, all
That's
right,
an easy game to Google. Google that Super Bowl and see if the uniforms were.
cool.
Natron Means, Stan Humphries. Who was that wide receiver? God, what was his name?
Don't
They had the
know.
one deep threat receiver that they went to all the time. I can't remember.
Great question.
Malik, did you get that I sent you?
No,
You didn't get that?
I don't know what you said.
I sent something to you on
Andre Coleman. I think that
Messenger.
was.
Yeah, I think it might have been Andre Coleman. Sent you
Maybe
something
not.
on Messenger. I guess you didn't get it.
No, on our chat.
No, AOL
No.
Instant Messenger.
No, I sent
Back in
something to
time
you.
to send it.
I sent something to you, and I think I did.
You hopped in the time machine and you sent it over.
I was like, "How is that still a thing?" Because I went to it said, "You want to share this?" And it said, "Messenger," it said Malik Nicholas. I was like, "Is this still active?" So I sent it. Yeah, I guess you didn't get it.
No,
You gave
I'll
out his
check
whole
Messenger.
government name on here.
I'll check Messenger later when I get my phone.
You don't have our names, in the description.
No, just our first names.
What kind of operation are we? Just our first names. Lavon. I could be AI for all these people, though. I don't have a last name.
You are AI as far as they know.
An algorithm. for
The
all
only
everybody
person,
knows.
if they see it
Right.
visually, that has their name on it is Ace on our screens.
Oh my gosh. It's all good. All right, we've bantered
All right.
enough.
We're
Malik.
going in.
Banter is fun.
Dolphins at Falcons. The Falcons are 7.5-point favorites against the Miami Dolphins at home. The Falcons are coming off of a loss against the San Francisco 49ers on Monday night. Oh, no, was that Monday night or Sunday? That was Sunday night.
No, that was Monday. I
So
think
that
you're
was
right.
Sunday night. Monday was Detroit.
Yeah.
Lions play. So that was Sunday night in San Francisco. The Falcons dropped that game 20-10, and the Dolphins lost again in their game. I can't remember who they played.
Cleveland.
They got the Browns.
Oh, that's right. They
stomped
got
them.
smoked by the Browns. I remember.
Browns.
Correct.
stomped really good.
Yes, they beat the Browns beat the brakes off of them. And so now we're looking at a 7.5 point spread. Over under in this game is 43.5. Levon, we'll start with you. As you were 5-0 on your picks in your best bet. So I'm start with you.
Cool.
Falcons 7.5 point favorites over the Dolphins. What you got?
The Dolphins are a dumpster fire. They just lost what's this guy's name? Waller, who they put on IR, and they signed Dolchich off the practice squad to they're a dumpster fire. I just don't need to get too deep into that. I got the Falcons. Like the Falcons and the under. Falcons are good at home, and they are surprisingly a pretty good defensive team at that. So I picked the under, and I locked it in.
Whoa, take it
All
easy
right.
ones.
That's easy.
You just said the Miami Dolphins are a dumpster fire.
Yeah, they are a dumpster
That's the only
fire,
reason I
but
says easy.
those points, a whole touchdown, the
And
Falcons.
touchdown, you got to win by 8.
Yeah,
So,
exactly. I don't think that's a gimme. I mean, I would if it was 3, I'd think that's a gimme. I wouldn't think winning by
fair enough.
pretty much 10 points because you
Yeah, that's
don't really
true.
score 8 in football. So that's a field goal and a touchdown. I think that's a pretty
2-point
bold
conversion
lock.
every time you
Well,
go.
did you lock it in, or Ace?
I didn't make my pick yet.
Well,
Me
we'll
neither.
find
Make
out,
this
won't
pick.
we?
Yeah.
My
Go ahead and-
bet on that is you didn't. But let's proceed.
Go ahead and make your pick. Ed.
Yeah, I didn't lock it in, but I'm also picking the Falcons on this, and I'm picking the under. Even though there's talks out there that Michael Penix might be out, and it might be Kirk Cousins coming in. Who cares? Because when you look at the Miami side, Tua might be out again. He might be starting, but he might be out again before half, and then who knows? He might put Quentin in there or whatever his name is, or Zach Wilson. I'd love to see Zach Wilson, but I wouldn't be surprised if he's saving him for the Jet game. But anyway, I'm gonna go with Falcons and the under.
Ace,
All right.
over to
This
you.
game might actually go to overtime, double overtime.
Falcons in the over.
Wow.
I'm not
that was
locking
quick.
it in because I want to pick a harder game.
Oh, got called out. Now he's gonna go harder.
I just find it. The Falcons are so difficult to trust, man. Like
Say that again.
they're even in a bad game like this, even against a bad team like the Dolphins, the Falcons are so hard to trust. I can't pick the Dolphins until Mike McDaniel gets fired because I feel like that's going to be the
He's the
whatever.
problem.
No, I'm just
Yeah,
saying
right now,
whatever game-
yeah,
no,
I
I'm not
agree. He
saying
is the
that.
problem.
Whatever game he gets fired in, the next game or whatever week he gets fired, the next week I expect them to play inspired football and either win or cover. So I'm not
You-
picking them to win or to cover until that happens.
Just to
And if
let you
they
know, that doesn't
win-
always happen, Malik.
Huh?
That doesn't always happen. I have a perfect example that happened last year. That didn't, that
Well,
Team
if
didn't
if it include if it includes your Jets, then no, we don't have to talk about your Jets. But I'm just saying, I'm just saying.
I just had to
So,
float that in there.
I'm not picking the Dolphins until that happens though. So I'll take the Falcons. I will take the over though, because I do think the Falcons have a pretty good defense, but I think they'll score pretty well. They'll score well enough to get that 43.5. That seems pretty low. All right, next up, no lock for me. Next up, the battle for Ace's heart.
Oh,
The Chicago Bears are going to Baltimore to play the Baltimore Ravens. This is the Ace's Heart Bowl
the Ace Bowl.
How's that?
because the Bears.
Your real team versus your fake team.
It's your brain versus your heart. This is if anybody's just listened to this show, you all know that Ace seems to support both teams equally. He has two loves in the NFL, and the Bears and the Ravens. And now the Bears, winners of 4 straight,
Pretty
coming
good.
into this game, are 4-2 coming into this contest. They are playing in Baltimore to face a Ravens team coming off of their bye in probably the most desperate situation that they've been in the Lamar Jackson era especially. Are 6.5 point favorites at home facing Ace's Chicago Bears.
We're on a hot
Over-under in this
streak.
game is 49.5.
That's
Ace,
insane.
of course, I will roll with you here. Bears, Ravens, what are you thinking?
Yeah, I'm thinking the Bears cover here. I'm not gonna lock this one in. I used the Bears as my survivor pick last week. Thanks for that help, Ant.
Well,
telling me just pick against the Jets. No, that's not a real thank you. But I would like to point out the Ravens got a little bit healthier. They only have 10 people listed on the injury report. Unfortunately, all of them are still starters. I don't know if Ronnie Stanley's playing. It doesn't appear Patrick Ricard is playing. I don't know if Roquan Smith is playing. If Smith, Flowers, Hamilton, and well, we know this, Lamar Jackson's playing. Apparently, Vegas knew for everybody else, which is why they opened up at 6.5 point favorites. I thought that was odd. I think the Bears are good enough to keep this game close. The Ravens have been playing terrible. If they lose this game, I think there's a legitimate chance they fire John Harbaugh at the end of the year. They're 1-5. Like you go 1-6, you're not making the playoffs. I don't think they can make the playoffs now, but we will see. The fact that they're behind Cleveland in the standings says a lot. Bears have 14 players on the injury report. Okay. DJ Moore, limited practice. Swift, limited practice. Cole Kmet did not practice, back. I mean, every running back they have that takes snaps is on the injury report, except the rookie, Monangai. Kyler Gordon, injury report. So I'm taking the Bears to cover, and Joe Thuney, the guard that we got from them, did not participate in practice. The quarterback's not hurt, so that's good. But we will see. I'm taking the Bears, though, to cover, if not win this one outright. So let's go.
All right.
Bear
Vaughn,
down.
over to you.
Yeah, I agree with everything Ace said. There's nothing else to add to that. I also think the Bears, if they don't win this game outright, will at least cover. So I got the Bears.
All right, Ant.
yeah, I completely disagree with both of y'all. Earlier, I maybe would have agreed, but then I started seeing film of Lamar practicing. Also saw a video of him getting some food from the truck vendor. So I'm gonna go with Lamar in this one because the Ravens need to come back to the playoffs, and the NFL is gonna want them in there. Wink, wink, cheat, cheat. But ref might do something here. But anyway, as long as Lamar is playing, they're gonna win. They're gonna win. They're gonna go on a winning streak, snap the Bears winning streak. And also, you talk about a coach getting fired in Harvard. I don't think that's going to happen. That's an experienced head coach there that's been to the Super Bowl versus a rookie head coach.
Okay.
I'm going to go with experience here. Give me the Ravens. And I'm actually going to take the over in this one. For some reason, I believe that, I'm going to believe in that. Just
I agree with you on the over. I don't think this is going to be a defensive battle.
No, it's not. It might be a double overtime like this game I'm watching right now.
Yeah.
I too will take the Ravens to cover. This is one of those schedule losses, in my opinion. The Ravens coming off of their bye, having lost 4 straight. Their losses were to the Lions, the Chiefs, the Texans, and the Rams. 3 of those
real teams.
All 4 of those teams were playoff teams from last season.
The Texans aren't good.
The Bears, they were playoff teams last season. The Bears, on the other side, their 4 wins came against the Cowboys, the Raiders, Commanders, and the Saints. 3 of
playoff teams last year.
Only one.
3 of those 4 teams have below 500 records right now.
So do the Ravens.
One of them is 500 because they have a tie, and that's the Cowboys. So, and has one of the worst defenses in the NFL. So
do the Ravens.
No, I agree. So I'm not of the thought that Chicago's been beating a murderer's row. They're a solid team that's on the rise, that they are ascending. But
they've been beating bad teams, which the Ravens are.
I don't think the Ravens are a bad team. The Ravens were playing poorly because they were not a healthy team, and they were missing the one player on their team that everything that they do is centered around. If he's back and he's completely healthy, if he's back and he's healthy and he's himself, then I think that the Ravens win this game. He, more than just about any other single player, maybe Patrick Mahomes, might be the only other one. I think the team rises and falls on Lamar Jackson's availability, right? I think him being there, just physically being out there on the field, gives them the belief that they can win. And they play, they might even play above their talent level just because they know that he's there. That's
damn.
Sorry, what I believe from
But
that
they
perspective.
just
So I
showed
think
that Super Bowl. I wasn't watching though.
the 95. Okay. So that's why I think the Ravens. That's why I think the Ravens win. The Ravens cover. I wouldn't lock this in because to
Oh my
Lavar's point,
God.
they may very well be bad, and if they are bad, they'll show it. They'll show it, and they'll lose here.
Yeah.
Um, the Bears are also they're still a young they're still a relatively young team, and I
We're on a
want to
hot
see them.
streak.
And Caleb Williams has not played his best ball yet. He did not play very good in that
He
New Orleans game, and they could have
no.
lost. They could have easily lost that game if not for New
Yes.
Orleans giving away 4 turnovers in that game. So, all that said, I'll take the Ravens. I'll take the over in that game, but I'm not locking that in. All right, next
Okay.
game. Next game, Bills at the Panthers. The Bills are 7.5 point favorites in Carolina against the Panthers, who are 4-3 on the season. That's a surprise. Buffalo's coming off of their bye. They've lost 2 straight. They lost to New England and they lost to Atlanta. So they're coming off of their bye, that was 10 days ago. And they're stepping into a Carolina, they're stepping into Carolina, who's undefeated at home so far this season, and is 4-3 overall. Uh, the Bills are 7 or 7.5 point favorites, depending on the book that you're looking at. The over under here is 45.5. And I'm gonna start with you. Bills Panthers. What are you thinking?
Yeah, I'm not even going to look at my notes for this one. I'm going to go with the Bills and the under in this one. The Bills are the better team. Carolina has been going against easy teams at the right time. I think they still have up and coming as well, but I can't see them beating the Bills. Bills got to actually try to get back their lead in the AFC East, and they're battling against the Patriots on this one. They're not going to lose this game. So, this is in Buffalo, right?
No, this is in Carolina.
Oh, all right. Either way, doesn't matter. Bills in the under. Lock it in. First lock of the week.
All right. I will also take the Bills, not locking it, but I'll also take the Bills. It also looks like Bryce Young is currently listed as doubtful, so he's not likely to play. I'm not even sure does anybody know who the backup quarterback is in
The
Carolina?
Red Rifle.
Oh, so
Yep.
we're
Andy
talking Andy
Dalton.
Dalton.
So
Andy
that's an easy
Dalton.
loss.
So yeah, I don't think that he's going to be able to move the way the Carolina Panthers have been winning over the last few weeks. Um, there was a heavy dosage of Rico Dowdle for 2 straight weeks, and then they played the Jets, who lost their quarterback relatively early. Even if you don't think much about their quarterback,
Loss.
even if you don't think much about their quarterback or the backup, they did play without their quarterback for a good
Loss.
portion of the season, a good portion of that game. So I'll take the Bills to cover this, not locking it, but I'll take the Bills to cover it. I'll take the under as well. I
That's
don't
some
think
good wording.
the Bills are not have not been playing their best ball, but they are getting a little healthier coming off of their bye. So I think they should be able to take care of business there. Levon.
Um, really quickly, I think the story of this year is changing of the guard. It's a lot of teams that we're used to seeing being the dominant forerunners in the NFL, and they're kind of coming back to the pack. And a lot of teams that we're used to being doormats that are starting to ascend. And the Chicago Bears are one, and it's easy to pick against them when you see them going into a place like Baltimore. But Baltimore's been bad all year. And even when they had Lamar, they were bad. They lost the opener to Buffalo in dramatic fashion, and then they beat a Cleveland team, and then they turned around and got smacked by the Lions, and then Lamar got hurt. So I just wanted to say that really quickly. Even though that game could go either way, I just wanted to put that out there. But it segues into the Panthers, and the Panthers are, for all intents and purposes, an ascending team, but they don't have their quarterback. They did have Bryce Young. I would be more inclined to take them because they do play good at home, 4-0 at home, and they have beaten at least one good team in the Dallas Cowboys, which is no small feat because, Dallas puts up a ton of points and they managed to beat Dallas. Um, and the Bills are one of those teams that looks like they're coming back to the pack. They haven't really played well consistently in a couple of weeks. I think they've on a 2-game losing streak, and they're not even favored to win their division at this point, considering the Patriots' schedule is soft as baby wipes. This is a tricky game. It was a hard one for me to really call because I've not, even though I've said all that about the Panthers, I've been getting their games wrong all year. I pick them to win, they turn around and lose. I pick them to lose, they turn around and win. And with that being said, I want to pick the Panthers because they're at home, but I'm going with the Bills. And
Oh
I'm
shit, I might
locking
have to
it
switch
in.
my picks now.
I'm going with Buffalo and I'm locking it in.
All right. Ace.
The Buffalo Bills have not scored over 30 points the past 2 weeks. That is against the New England Patriots defense and that fierce Atlanta Falcons defense. The Carolina Panthers defense is well improved. Andy Dalton is not as good as Bryce Young at this point in his career, but he's not much worse. Rico Dowdell has turned into the second coming of Emmitt Smith somehow. He's run for 400 yards in the past 2 games. Nobody saw that coming. The Bills still have a bad run defense. So unless Ed Oliver is healthy and playing, I'm sorry, they're not covering this spread. Lock in the Carolina Panthers at home. Give me them to cover. And I'm going to take the over. They are 5-2 against the spread, which means even when they lose, they still cover. They add points against 21, points for 20. The Bills do not cover, even when they do win. They've won 4 games and they're 2-4. So they're going to win and they're not going to cover. Watch they win this game by a field goal and everybody's going to be pissed. And they're going to go with 3 touchdowns to Andy Dalton somehow. They'll be like, where did this come from? And then Rico Dowdell has like $150 for 2 tutties.
Rico Dowdell might not even make that much because Chuba Hubbard's coming back.
Yeah, Chuba played the last game.
He's run for 400 yards in 2 weeks. He's getting the ball.
Doesn't mean nothing. Okay. Chuba's more.
I don't care.
That's your first lock, right?
That's my first lock. He's getting the ball, Ant.
It's the one game I'm scared of. He's just
hear me now. I'm picking the tough one.
The Bills do not cover. They never do. They are a disappointment.
They can win. They can easily win this game.
But they got 2 weeks to plan for this game.
You give me 7.5 at home. I'm taking Carolina.
I'm keeping my lock. I'm keeping it.
All right, back over to you, Ant. Your New York Jets, 0-7, heading on the road to face the Cincinnati Bengals in the Flacco Show over there in good old Cincinnati. The Jets are 0-7 on the season, 3-4 against the spread. They have kept some games relatively close over the course of the season. They seem like they're just trying to get out of their own way to get a dub. Woody Johnson's talking about, he's talking in favor of his head coach. He's talking against his quarterback. He's, putting foot in his mouth, just throwing things out there. The team's in shambles. The cities wants to fire the head coach. Everybody's going crazy about what's going on there with the Jets. This is time, right? It's time, right? This is time for them to get this dub, right, Anthony? You're on this, right? It's the time. This is the time for you to take them. This is the time for you to lock them. This is the time for them to get the dub. The Bengals are 6.5-point favorites hosting the Jets. The over/under is 44.5. Ant, starting with you, should I just write it in? Jets, the over, lock it in. Is that? We're just gonna go with that, Ant.
No.
What's your pick, Ed?
I'm taking Cincinnati in the under. One thing good about the Jets for the last couple of weeks is the defense. They've been holding 2 weeks in a row. They hold the team down to 13 points, I believe it was.
Yep.
The exact points. But I'm going to go with the Bengals on this one. I'm locking this one in, and I'm taking the under. I have something. I don't know if I'm going to quite spill the tea on Woody Johnson and my shout outs. I'll just keep. I'll go how I feel about when that comes around. But anyway, I'm gonna just take everybody better lock this in, put their mortgages on this one. Cincinnati and the under. Lock it in. There's no way the Jets is winning this.
He said their mortgage.
Before I make my pick, Ed, is Garrett Wilson
practicing? Nope, he's not. He didn't practice today, and he might actually miss the game. That's another reason for this. Yeah, we're gonna our quarterback might be missing again or whatever word.
Is Tyrod Taylor healthy?
Tyrod Taylor is a little unhealthy there, so it might
Okay.
actually go. It might actually go back to our third string quarterback. I forgot that guy's name. Kind of suck, but I forgot his name.
Name's Cook.
Yeah, I didn't really want to say anything, but yes, that's what his name is. He might actually end up playing. For all we know, because the quarterback. What was that word verbiage that you used earlier, Malik? When I did my quotation about
Oh,
about Justin Fields, disappearing for some reason.
missing or
Yeah, yeah, missing. Yeah, his brain is missing. But anyway, I'm gonna go Cincinnati on the under this one. Definitely lock it in.
I'm taking the Bengals in the under as well, not locking it in. I was very impressed by this is less about the Jets, but I was very impressed by what I saw from Joe Flacco and that offense against a decent defense in the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Oh, the Unk
Um,
Bowl. That was awesome.
it was a very impressive performance, but
Icy hot.
mostly just because at least that Joe Flacco doesn't care about what the coverage is looking like. He's going to
Hmm.
throw the ball to T. Higgins and Jamar Chase. Jamar Chase got 16 targets in that game. He had 16 catches. I think he had like 18 targets in that game.
23.
You get
Just
Joe Flacco a
23.
top receiver like that, he goes off.
He's peppering those guys, and he's gonna force the Jets, who play a ton of man coverage. Aaron Glenn wants him to play man. He's gonna
Sauce
Oh,
hurt.
force the
Sauce might be out.
Jets.
Sauce is gonna be out too.
Sauce
Sauce
might
might
be
be
out as
out.
well. He's questionable, but
My
he's gonna
God.
force them.
Yeah, we have a bunch of nobodies in the corners now.
Yeah, Flacco and the Bengals are going to force the Jets to play their style, to play their pace, and the Jets unfortunately don't have enough off on the offensive side of the ball to mount a big enough attack even against the Bengals defense that's probably going to be without their best pass rusher in Trey Hendrickson.
Now I'm thinking about it. They might pull a Miami, get 70 on us.
So I'll take the Bengals in the under here. I'm not going to lock it in, but yeah, that's where I'm leaning. Levon, over to you.
Yeah, y'all hit on everything. I'm taking the Bengals. I want to hit when the Jets finally get that first dub, but I don't think it's going to be this week. Nobody's playing at MetLife this week. I had to double check because I noticed that the other New York team is on the road, so I figured the Jets would be at home, but they're not. They're in Cincinnati, and that
Might be
right
a
there.
concert.
There must be something going on over there.
Yeah, so yeah, Flacco used to play for the Jets, and he has a way
Yeah.
of torching his former teams, or teams that he's used to playing, which is pretty much everybody. Team he's played against or played for is pretty much everybody. But the
It
Jets don't have
is
any way to
not
stop.
everybody.
They have no way to stop Chase Higgins and then that passing attack. And everybody's hurt. It's looking real bad. I do think Tyrod will start this week after what Woody said. If Aaron Glenn puts Fields out there, he's putting his job at jeopardy.
Oh,
Ace.
Phil's job's in jeopardy. Aaron Glenn is okay.
Yeah, I know what the owner says, but if he keeps, botching things, it's not going to matter if Woody said he's safe or not. If he's
Yeah.
clown showing up and they go 0-16,
He goes
Thibodeau's
1
getting
and
paid 30
16.
million
That's not
to sit
bad.
home. So money at the end of the day, these guys are billionaires. But yeah, I got the Jets. No lock. I got the Jets.
You got the Jets?
You said the
No, I'm
Bengals,
sorry. Bengals, no lock. I got the
Okay.
Bengals.
Oh, I'm taking the
Ace.
I'm taking the Bengals and I'm locking it in. It would take a comedy of errors for the Cincinnati Bengals to lose this
this is
game.
just nickname, right?
No, but what I mean is,
that's a team
no, I mean for
nickname.
Cincinnati to lose. Because I just looked up who your third string is, and he's on the practice squad, so he would have to get elevated. Tyrod Taylor's listed on the injury report with the knee. The man's 35 years old. So, like, if he gets hurt in the game, which is a possibility, because he didn't play well last game, I don't know. It's got to improve somewhat. Because as bad as Fields was, he came in and threw 2 picks.
Yeah, because Tyler was actually cold. He didn't practice anything. for
Okay,
weeks.
fine. It didn't get any better, though. It didn't get any better.
Anybody would be like that if they're coming off the bench. They didn't practice in weeks.
Not anybody. But
No,
fine. You want to make
Yeah.
excuses? Cool. Hopefully he'll
it's
play
called
better
have
this
reps.
week.
There's a reason why they have reps in the week, Ace.
Hopefully he'll play better this week. Sauce Gardner's not playing. They still got 2 of the best receivers. Y'all are cooked on the outside.
Oh, I already know that.
I'm locking. I'm locking in Cincinnati. No disrespect. I'm locking in Cincinnati.
I'm locking in the first pick of the NFL draft for next year. I'm
Brees
already locking
Hall's
that
gonna
in.
have to turn into a
I'm, I,
combination of.
I have the Jets locking in, beating the Lions a quite undefeated streak, of losing.
No way. They're not going to
They,
be
they go,
the. They will
yes, they
not be the
burying
first
that.
team to go 0-17. They're going to
Yes, they
get a
will.
dub. They're going to get a win.
Yes, they will.
But this game is a dub.
They've been breaking bad records all year.
Wow. Listen,
Aaron Glenn is the first coach to actually be Owens, whatever.
Bengals will cover.
You can say, Ace. I mean, and they got their first turnover last week. They did good.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Do the Aaron Glenn
and
dance.
Flacco will throw a duck out there every now and again. Actually, he's not throwing ducks, but he still got it.
He's throwing darts. He'll throw a dart. He'll throw a dart at the Jets players though.
Yeah.
If you have Flacco in fantasy stardom, he's gonna have like 90 points on his own.
All right, next up, we got the 49ers visiting the Houston Texans. The 49ers are, the Texans are home favorites. They're favored by 1.5. The Texans are they're 2-5 right now. I believe they're 2-5, and they might be 2-4. Meanwhile, the 49ers are 5-2 coming off of their win at home against the Falcons on Monday night. I'll go first here. I'm going to take the 49ers. I like the 1.5 points here. I like that they're getting points in this situation. They are the better team, and I'm locking this in. I believe the 49ers are the better team. Brock Purdy might very well be back at quarterback position for them. And Christian McCaffrey, even though he's unfortunately injuries have plagued him for the last few seasons, he's actually healthy right now, and when he's healthy, he's doing a lot of Christian McCaffrey things. He's on pace to break his own receptions record for a running back right now. He's getting a ton of usage. And the defense is actually playing inspired ball, even though they lost Fred Warner to a season-ending injury not too long ago. On the other side, Houston did not look good against the Seattle team that did not play great for the vast majority of that game. I watched that game. I watched a replay of that game because that game was started at 10 o'clock at night on a Monday. It's ridiculous. But I did watch a replay of that game, and Seattle did not play great. They tried to give the game away to Houston a number of times, and Houston's offense just wouldn't do it. Nico Collins went down with a concussion in that game, and he's unlikely to play in this game. And Christian Kirk may be out. He has been missing practice this week as well. So C.J. Stroud's weapons are not around. His offensive line has not been very good, and they're playing against a potentially very good defense that's playing inspired football at this point. So I'm taking the 49ers. I'm taking the under, and it's my first lock of the week. Ace, over to you.
All right. Give me the San Francisco 49ers. It's hard to trust the quarterback named McCorkle, but he keeps going out there and he keeps getting it done. I don't know if Brock Purdy's going to play. They said it's unlikely. I'm starting to think CJ Stroud might be the problem. You just have to figure it out, man. I know your offensive line stinks, but hey, man, sometimes it's just what it is. So you got to do what you got to do.
Things they can't run the football. Like they got a lot of issues on offense.
Listen, that's on the GM, but you out there now. So take these snaps and get it done. Like figure it out because you made it to playoffs twice. You even won a playoff game. Y'all were complaining last year about how y'all got cheated, which is why y'all lost this to the Chiefs. I actually did think the refs were against you in that game, but you knew that going in because they're the Chiefs. It's what they do. It's what they get. So I think that's carried over to this year. They don't have their running back. They still got Nick Chubb. He might be able to give them a boost, but I don't think the 49ers are giving anything up easy. And they got their DC back, and he's a good defense coordinator, even without Warner. But yeah, Niners.
All right. And
yeah, something's definitely wrong with CJ Stroud from his rookie year, whatever. It seems like ever since he was trying to give advice to the quarterback in Washington, all of a sudden he just fell off on that. And it doesn't help that he has a horrible offensive line. Wide receivers is not playing right. It's going to be DeMeco Ryans versus his mentor, Kyle Shanahan, or his actual other mentor, Robert Saleh. But both of them actually know DeMeco Ryans, and then basically knows what system that he runs on defense. and I bet you they know what system they run on offense as well. So they have the more experience in facing him, and I believe that they will actually pull out the win. So I'm going to go with the 49ers, and I'm going to take the over in this one.
All right, Levon.
Yeah, it's a clean sweep. I got the Niners as well. You guys hit on everything. It's no need to beat the horse dead.
All right. Next up, we got the Cleveland Browns facing the New England Patriots. The Patriots are coming, if I'm not mistaken, they're coming off of a victory last week. What was that? Against Tennessee. That's right. They beat the brakes off of Tennessee last week. And the Browns, they are also coming off of a victory against the Miami Dolphins. The Browns are the underdogs here. They're 7-point dogs on the road in New England. The over under in this game is 40 and a half. Levon, let's start with you. What are you thinking? Patriots, Browns.
Patriots are an ascending team. They are an ascending team, and that schedule is super, super favorable. The Cleveland is not a good road team at all. If this game was in Cleveland, I would probably think about going with the Browns because I think they would at least make it a close game and could cover the number. But it's in New England, and Drake May is playing lights out. I think he had 3 incompletions the last game, if that. It's crazy how good he's playing in his second year, which is usually a telltale sign that he's going to be good. First year being good is usually either way, but if a quarterback after that first year can sustain or improve, it's usually a good sign. So unfortunately, the Patriots look like they found a good one for years to come, and they're well coached. And Cleveland, who's is it Gabriel? Is it Sanders? I mean, do we know?
It's Dylan
Uh,
Gabriel still.
Still
Still
Gabriel
Dylan?
until further
Still
notice.
Dylan.
I'm going with the Pats and over.
All right. And
Yeah, I'm also going to go with the Pats on this one. I'm going to lock this in. I think this is my third lock of the week. I don't know, but
yes.
so the reason I'm going to go with the Pats is because they had the quarterback established, they had the coach established, they have their identity as established, even down to the coaches and stuff like that. Vabro knew what he was doing when he came in there. He knew he was going to set up by being an experienced head coach. When you flip it over to the Brown side, they seem like they more experiments and they trying to see if Dylan Gabriel or Shador Sanders, from what I heard, he might be starting. Shador might be starting the last 4 games, no matter what of the season. Whereas right now they're going with Dylan Gabriel until he starts screwing up and they switch over. But it seemed like they're more. Well, my point is that it seemed like they're more experimenting this year, and they just basically throwing this a year aside to experiment, see where they're gonna go. We don't really know if they're gonna even if they have the coach because they might get rid of him at the end of the year and whatever. But anyway, without me keep on rambling, I'm gonna go with the Patriots, and I'm gonna take the I'm gonna go with the over in this one. The reason I'm gonna go with the over in this one. Browns only basically won last week because of the Browns defense, not because of Dylan Gabriel.
I'm gonna go with the Patriots as well. This is the shocking thing about this game will be played on Sunday, October the 26th, and it will be the Patriots' first home game in the month of October.
Wow.
The last 3 games have been on the road. They won 3 straight on the road in Buffalo, in New Orleans, and then in Tennessee. So this is the first home game of them coming back since they beat Carolina in that blowout game that they had 42-13. So them coming back home, giving 7 points. This feels like a good welcome home, gift for the Patriots coming back to this situation playing against the Browns. So I'm going to take the Patriots as well. I like the over, not locking it in, but I definitely like where they're positioned in this situation. Ace, over to you.
Safest bet on this game is the under. Both teams average giving up less than 20 points to their opponents a game. I think the over under on this is what, like 41?
40 and a half. Yeah.
40 and a half. That'll be perfect. Patriots win but don't cover. Give me Cleveland. Their defense is going to grind it out. They're going to go for turnovers. They're probably going to get at least 1 or 2. Drake May is good, but he's not great yet. And that's why they're going to get the turnovers. Quinshawn Judkins is not going to have to do much. And he didn't have to do much last week, and he was great. He had 3 touchdowns. You give him short fields, he can get there. And Dylan Gabriel's managing the offense. So hopefully he will gain more confidence as he gets more reps. Shador is still the backup by default because they only got 2 quarterbacks on the roster. I don't even think they have a third. And I saw an interesting thing that says they're paying 5 quarterbacks currently. They're still paying part of Joe Flacco's salary. They're still paying Dorian Thompson Robinson, and they're paying the 2 guys that they have. And I think they're paying like $100,000 to Kenny Pickett somehow because he was on the roster for a certain amount of time. So 5 quarterbacks being played, only 3 are on the roster, and what's his name still dealing with a torn Achilles, so he ain't coming back. So yeah, but the defense is just too good. So give me the Browns. I'm gonna take them 6.5.
Levon, we move over to your New York Football Giants. The Giants are heading to Philadelphia to take on the Eagles. The Eagles are 7.5 point favorites. The over under in this game is 43.5. The Eagles return home after a victory in Minnesota against the Vikings, where they covered the number. Meanwhile, the Giants covered, but probably the most excruciating cover of the season thus far. This far. This was a game where the Giants were definitely cruising and coasting along against the Broncos in Denver, up 19-0 at one point. The fourth quarter starts, and then all hell broke loose. And the Giants unfortunately wound up losing that game in excruciating fashion, 33-32, if I'm not mistaken. They lost by a point. Or they lost by 2. I can't remember what the number was. But anyway, they did cover the number, though. And if we remember correctly, this is a rematch from 2 weeks ago where the Giants at MetLife beat the brakes off the Eagles. So, of course, you know that the Eagles are probably looking for some payback here. Again, spread is 7.5. Eagles are favored. Over under is 43.5. Levon, what are you thinking?
So I wasn't really impressed with Philly against Minnesota. I think they benefited from the quarterback play that Minnesota has or doesn't have, as evident in this game that we're watching currently now. But they got some things going in the air, which is what they've been trying to do. AJ Brown caught a deep ball, had like four catches for like 100 and over 100 yards, and Devontae the same. I know the difference between that first game and this one coming up. Jalen Carter is going to play in this one, and the cornerback Mitchell got hurt in the first quarter, and he should be playing in this one as well. He played last week. But yeah, Philly's going to remember that game. It's a divisional game. Divisional games have a way of going sideways all the time. But the Giants are an ascending team, much like the Bears, much like the Patriots. No longer the doormats of the NFC. At least that's not what the schedule says or the record. But their play would say something different. I fully expect it to be a game. Because I wouldn't have at the beginning of the year, that we would have got stomped. But I come to believe that this team is turning the corner, and it's going to be a game. The Giants are going to come out and keep it close. They cover the number, but I think they ultimately lose the game. So I'm taking the Giants, and I'm locking it in.
Right. I will Ace. Over to you.
I'm locking in the Eagles for the same reason that Levon just said. Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter are playing. That will affect the rest of the team. Good news for the Giants is they're 2 free agents who signed with the Eagles on defense. Azeez Ojulari and Adoree Jackson will not be playing. They're injured and they are not expected to play. So that means that their starting corner and their starting left outside linebacker will not be there. But Zach Bond is there. And unfortunately for the Giants, Brandon Graham is back in the building. BG is back. So they got problems. Give me the Eagles. They got embarrassed last time losing to the Giants in the Meadowlands. They kind of walked through that game. And their entire offensive line is listed as healthy except for their center, Cam Jurgens. He's not expected to play. Give me the Eagles. I'm gonna go with the Saquon revenge game.
I too was not impressed by what I saw
It's my
from
third lock of the week, by the way, I think.
Oh, okay. Yes, this is your third lock. I too was not impressed by what I saw from the Eagles in Minnesota last week. Thought they were definitely, it was definitely on the board for them to lose that game. And really up until that last touchdown that Jalen Hurts threw to AJ Brown, I believe it was, they were not covering that number either. I think it was 6.5, and they had only been up by like 2 points.
But that was an
Going
impressive
into
touchdown.
it was. They were running. He was running wide open in some of those situations. And of course, AJ Brown is still tweeting stuff, and there's still the remnants or the potential idea that there still are issues with this team. Um, but I feel like Philly is really trying to they're really gonna try to win the day here with the against the Giants. Not if for no other reason than honestly speaking, they need to win this game because if the Giants win this game and have a 2 game lead on the Eagles, or have that 2 games on the Eagles, um, the Giants can, be a very, very tough out in terms of that. This can really hurt the Eagles in terms of their seeding in the playoffs. Like even if they win this division, like they could win this division and have a poor divisional record and put them in a situation where they are, a 4 seed or a 5 seed, going into the, sorry, a 4 seed going into the playoffs and have to go on the road, or have to play a really good 5 seed, at home. So I wouldn't be surprised if the Eagles' sense of urgency for this game is pretty high, and they come out and try to win this game and try to smother the Giants and prevent Jackson Dart and Cam Scatterboo and those guys from taking over the game in the way that they did previously in the Meadowlands. Part of it was they didn't know what these guys were going to do, and they shocked them. They won't shock them this time. At least I believe that wholeheartedly. So I'll lock in the Eagles here, 7.5 points. It's a big number, but I'll lock it in because I think at least for one week, the Eagles should show up the way that they have in years past and get this dub and re-solidify themselves at the top of this division. So I'll take the Eagles. I'll give the 7.5 and I'll lock it. And
Yeah, I'm going to take the Eagles as well. I'm going to take the over in this one. This is a division game, so and I don't think quite the defense is going to be locking each other down. I think it's just going to be a slugfest. But this is also, like you guys have been saying, it's going to be a revenge game for the Eagles. And I also saw that nice little thing called I usually call the curse of New York football teams when they start showing up on other teams' quite screens. I saw Scatterboo last night, I think it was, or the night before. Yeah, the last night when he shows up on the Tron on the for the next game or whatever. And usually, for some strange reason, they usually lose. Teams of New York caliber usually lose that week for some reason. Everybody's in love with them, and the next week they wind up not loving them. But anyway, that's just me rambling on about BS. I'm gonna go with the Eagles. They're better. They're the better team as far as for talent is concerned, and I think they definitely going to be aiming for the playoffs to defend their championship. Not locking this in. Just gonna go with the Eagles at the over.
all right, next up we got the Buccaneers heading to New Orleans to face their hated rivals, the New Orleans Saints. And I say this even though the Buccaneers have won the division the last 3 of the last 4 years or whatever. These two teams hate each other with a passion. And there is no denying the love lost between these two franchises. The Saints hate pretty much everybody in the division except the Carolina Panthers. But these two teams are bitter rivals. They really don't like one another. And the Buccaneers are heading there after a loss on Monday night against a Lions team where they were thoroughly beaten. And they are going to New Orleans now, 4 point favorites. The over under is 47 and a half, 47 flat. Um, the Saints are coming off of their own loss in Chicago against the Bears in a game that I mentioned earlier, where that they played well in, but played well enough to have potentially been closer in that game, but were not able to get over their own mistakes on the road. But they're back at home, where they have been pretty good so far, even though their record doesn't suggest that. and they're getting 4 points. So let's start with Ant here. Uh, Bucks Saints. What are you thinking?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Buccaneers on this one. They actually had to face a real team in the Lions last week. The Saints are going to be a pushover. Unfortunately, this is their bye week. Their bye week right now for the Bucks, and they're going to win this. Quite the Saints, unfortunately, are one of the teams that just like a lot of these other teams where they talk about trading off pieces. So it looks like maybe the organization's turning over. I heard they was talking about trading their wide receivers, both of them. But you see what happens. But as far as for this game is concerned, I'm going to go with the Buccaneers. They're going to want to make up for their loss of last week, and they're still making a playoff push. I'm going to make this my fourth lock of the week. Oh, Bucks and I'll go with the over in this one.
Okay. The Bucks are still the walking wounded.
Actually, under. Sorry.
Okay. The Bucks are still the walking wounded in this situation. Baker Mayfield is healthy, but Levante David, Hassan Reddick, Antoine Winfield, Chris Godwin, Bucky Irving, Emeka Ibuka are all showing up on the injury report, and of course we know about Mike Evans. So some of those guys may play. A lot of them are listed as questionable, but they are banged up in a bunch of different areas in a bunch of different ways. And the Saints, despite being the less talented team, are are the healthier team coming into this. That's the only reason why I won't lock this in because I do think the Bucks are the better team out, by far. But I really do believe that the Bucks can win this, should be able to win this game, pretty handily. But the Bucks have shown on multiple occasions so far this season that they will take games down to the absolute wire. They don't have a problem winning a game by two, winning a game by a late field goal. And so that four is just a little bit too enticing for me. I'm going to take the Bucks, but I will not lock this in. Because even though I don't believe in the Saints one iota, especially Spencer Rattler, I don't think that the Bucks. I think that the Bucks play with their food a little bit too much, or they just don't have the bodies to really dominate the way that they should in a game like this. So I'll take the Bucks. I'll take the under, but I'm not locking it in. Ace, over to you.
In defense of Spencer Rattler, he has 8 pass touchdowns, 4 picks. Their problems are fumbles.
That's not good. 2 to 1.
It's not terrible. It's not more interceptions than touchdowns. Like, he's not doing a horrible job. He's completing 67% of his passes. The problem is those passes are very short. But they do have the pocket knife back there, Taysom Hill, who should be listed as a quarterback in all fantasy football leagues. I do not care that he is a gadget player. He plays QB on gadget plays, even though he really is just a tight end in here for the love of the game. Give me the Saints. They're going to cover. They will figure out a way to cover this game and possibly steal a victory because everybody on the Buccaneers defense is hurt. And I believe Jackson Smith-Njigba, who is having a breakout season. Oh, wait, wrong player. Emeka Egbuka, I do not believe is going to play. And if he does, he will be limited. He still has that hamstring injury. JSN is on Seattle. Teammates, I got confused from Ohio State. Point is, the Saints are good at home. They usually cover at home. They played on the road, Chicago outside. That's why they lost. And all the damn turnovers. They only have 3 rushing touchdowns on the entire year. We're in week 8. So give me the Saints. They're going to air it out. And, Bucks are hurt in the secondary. So not much of a pass rush either. Give me the Saints.
The Bucks' lack of a run game does give me pause.
Chase Young is still on the Saints.
That is true too. Levon.
Yeah, am I muted?
Nope, you're here.
Yep, Saints. Everything Ace said, he pretty much stole my thunder. Saints are at home in the dome. They play better at home. They are a bad team. The Bucks are more talented, but they are the walking wounded. And I think they will overlook this team enough to where they'll only win by 3, if not less, if not get upset altogether. So I got the Saints.
All right, this is the game before their bye. So if they're looking ahead, then they must be looking ahead to vacation.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right, the Cowboys at the Broncos. I think this is Fox's game of the week.
It
Cowboys
should
are
not
headed
be.
to Denver to face the Broncos. The Broncos are 5-2. Cowboys are 3-1. This is what's the phrase that the people like to use? It's the unstoppable force against the immovable object. Is that the
It's
phrase
the
that people like to
classics.
use?
Yeah.
I
John
thought the
Yeah.
phrase
Cena.
was the Cowboys going to go to the playoffs.
The unstoppable force being the Cowboys offense led by Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens, and the immovable object being the defense on the other side of the Denver Broncos with Nick Bonito and Patrick Surtain II back there, holding it down. So this game, is supposedly strength on strength, and the Broncos are at home and favored by 3.5 points. The over/under in this game is 50.5, so that goes to tell you what people think about those potential defensive battle. Because the other side is the Cowboys defense is one of the worst in the league. And the Broncos offense, although they did play well against the Giants in the fourth quarter, they seem to have problems scoring in quarters 1 through 3. Um, so if you take that for what it's worth, Ace, I'm gonna start with you here.
I'll make this one
Cowboys at the
quick.
Broncos. What are you thinking?
I keep picking against Sean Payton, and it keeps making me money. He just happens to be the coach of the Denver Broncos. He went at Russell Wilson, and Russell Wilson fired back, and everybody was actually like, "Yeah, Russ, we are with you." And he ended it with "Let's ride." So, Cowboys fans, let's ride. Give me the Cowboys. I'm locking them in for my fourth lock of the week.
Yes.
They're going to cover this game, and I think they're actually going to win this game. I think their good offense is going to stop Denver's great defense. Apparently, Cam Scatterboo was good enough to score on them. So I'm pretty sure that Javante Williams and Cavante Turpin and all the receivers from Dallas will probably catch a touchdown. They will not score 33 points against the Cowboys because they'll just have the ball long enough and they'll just, run out the clock, which is something that Denver cannot do. Denver also doesn't run the ball well, which is the worst part of Dallas's defense. So expect Bo Nix to throw some more picks. And if he runs, they will light him up before he reaches that sideline because that's what the Cowboys do is get penalties lighting up quarterbacks. Give me the Cowboys.
All right. Javante Williams revenge game as well. Ant, over to you.
Yeah, give me the Cowboys as well. Give me the over in this one. I'm definitely taking that. CeeDee Lamb is back, and they have two number one wide receivers on that team. So they're going to be destroying the Broncos on this one. Yes, the Broncos got a good defense, but I can see Cowboys lighting it up. Cowboys in the over.
Levon,
Am I muted? Yes.
you are not.
Sorry. Really hope that the host will stop mentioning my team's debacle last week. It's
Well, that's
not
it. I'm not
needed.
talking
It's
about the
not
Broncos
necessary.
anymore. I'm not
It
talking
would
about the
be nice
Broncos
if he
or
would
the
stop
Giants anymore.
mentioning it. We all know what happened. We can stop referencing it. That would be much appreciated.
Yeah,
Moving
Giants,
on.
Giants
Wait till we get
went
to
to
our
bed.
shout outs. Wait till we get to our shout outs.
Moving
Uh-oh.
moving on. Um, the Giants exposed Denver last week. They exposed that defense. The Colts did it first, but the Giants showed that that defense can be beat. And Dak is a better QB at this point in his career than Dart is. And Pickens and Lamb are probably next to Higgins and Chase, the best 1-2 combination of receivers in the league. The only thing I worry about is can that O line protect Dak like the Giants managed to give Dart time. And really, they didn't give Dart time. Dart was able to buy time in the pocket with his legs, but that's not Dak's game. So I'm not quite sure. I didn't really look too deep at the injury report for the Cowboys to know if they're healthy along that offensive line. But that's going to be the key to the game. If they can keep Dak upright and give him time to pick that team apart, then this will probably be a shootout. And if it is, the Cowboys are going to win it. So I'm taking the Cowboys. I'm taking the Cowboys in this game.
All right. I will close this out. It's a clean sweep. I will take the Cowboys as well. I just you guys all made great points. I will just say I like the high scoring team that's getting points. That's pretty much how I feel here. When a team can score 30 a night and they're getting points on this line, I like taking that
Oh,
team.
can I add something really quick, Malik,
Yeah,
before you start? I just want to say that in the next game, I already know what Ace is going to do. I think we all do in this next one. But that's it. That's all I wanted to say. Continue.
Okay.
Ooh.
No lock for me, but I definitely do like the Cowboys to cover the number, if not win the game outright. All right. This is the next game the one I was talking about, I think. Titans at the Colts. The Colts are 14-point favorites. This is the highest point favorite of the highest point spread of the weekend. And the over-under in this game is 47 flat. The Titans are 1-6, and they're coming off of a loss in New England last weekend. I'm sorry, a loss against New England at home last weekend, and they did not cover the number at 6.5. So now they go to Indy, who's playing probably the best football they've played since Andrew Luck was the quarterback on this team, and they're balling out. They're coming off of a victory in LA against the Chargers, where they covered the 2.5 point spread there. They're coming back home, look flying high at 5-1 or 6-1 on the season. This number is 14, so it's very, very high. But Ace, we'll start with you. What are you thinking?
This is a lot of points.
Shocking.
This is a ton of points.
Continue.
But Tennessee is so bad, and Jeffrey Simmons is hurt. So I don't even know what hope I can have for their defense at this point. They tried to bounce back after their coach got fired, which we all knew was going to happen. But I think Indianapolis is just going to crush them. They've been rolling like a freight train, so I just got to take the Colts.
Oh,
I don't want to. This is a ton of points.
No,
I'm taking the Colts.
Don't let me bait you into that. You know you want to take the Titans in this one.
No, I really like.
Right.
I'm thinking about it.
Okay.
But I looked at the injuries and I'm like, man, even their defense is bad now. So like, what do I do? And then I had Calvin Ridley as on my fantasy team, and he's questionable. He hasn't practiced much all week. So who's he throwing to? So what chances is Tennessee going to score on this team? And even with Indy's defense not being strong, like they can put up 48 points on them. This game could be 48-14, easy. So I'm taking the Colts.
Vaughn, over to you.
I feel bad. I feel as if I baited my colleague into taking a team that I was almost guaranteed he would go for the points. This is a ton of points. This is the most points all year, right, Malik?
Correct. Yes.
This is the most points all year. Buffalo came close against the Saints. That was 13.
I think Buffalo might have been 13.5 or 14. Yeah. I'll take a look.
That was 13.5, if not 13. This is the most points by far. It is crazy.
KC was high. KC was giving up a lot of points to the Raiders last week.
It wasn't this. No, I remember that. I took KC and I covered it because they 31 zipped their asses.
That was 12 points. Yeah.
It was 12, yeah. The Buffalo Saints in Buffalo was the most. It was 13. I remember it fine. I remember it very well. I remember I was pissed. I remember it very well. I'm taking the Colts, and I'm locking it in. I am taking the Colts because Tennessee is not good. And the Colts and Indiana Jones have been beating teams convincingly all year. I don't think they take their foot off the gas. They are the best team in football. They deserve that. They've played like it. Complete football, not just throwing the ball, but running the ball, defense. So I'm taking the Colts, and I'm looking at all 14 of those points, and I'm locking it in.
I am also taking the Colts and locking it in. And just to know, that this is the second highest. The highest was actually Packers Bengals, which was the Joe Flacco introduction to the Bengals.
Oh, word?
That was a 14.5 point spread, which the Packers did not cover.
Oh, wow.
That was 14.5 when we picked that game. So yeah, but I'm taking the Colts and I'm locking this in as well. I'm on a heater. I locked in the Chiefs last week and they covered it. And I normally do not like to lock in these big point spreads, but I did it and it worked. So I'm doing it again. I'm just going back to the well. The Colts, Levon you hit the nail on the head. The Colts are the most balanced football team that I've seen in the NFL so far. I've watched 3 of their games thus far, and every time I watch their games, they're just good at everything. They're they're good at throwing the ball. They're good at running the ball. They're good at defending. They block well up front. Their receivers block. Their receivers run good routes. The quarterback is playing well. They're not turning the football over. Like they're doing everything right and well. And I don't know if it's going to carry for the remainder of the season, but it damn sure, I damn sure feel comfortable it's going to carry this week against the Titans team that can't really do much of anything
Yeah.
on either side of the ball right now. So I'll take the Colts. And I will lay those points, and I will lock this in as well. Division game. So again, this is a tough one to lay, but we'll do it. And
Just want to point out, Jonathan Taylor has 10 touchdowns
Yeah,
rushing.
he's killing them.
He's averaging 5.3 yards a carry.
He's killing them. He's killing them.
and are you rolling with us, or are you going against the grain?
Is he still there?
Thought
What
he
happened?
was. Thought he was. And you with us?
Hello.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know. I got kicked off, but you already moved on.
No, Colts
It's
or
up to
Titans.
you. Colts and Titans.
Who should I pick? The Colts. Yeah, Colts and over. This is gonna be a beat down over here. Come on now. And I'm locking this in too. This is my 4th lock, I believe.
Jesus, did we all lock this game
This
in?
would be
No,
your
Ace
5th
didn't.
lock.
Ace
Ace,
did
is
lock
the
it,
only
yeah.
one that didn't lock it.
Wait, you said it's gonna be my 5th lock?
This would be your 5th.
I'm not picking any easy games.
I'm not gonna pick this game because I'm saving my last lock for the Aaron revenge game.
Aaron Revenge.
And that's the game we shift to. Sunday night football, Packers at the Steelers. The Packers are 3-point favorites heading to Pittsburgh to play against their former quarterback, former franchise leader, former star of the organization, Aaron Rodgers, 41 years old, now a member of the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Packers come in having won their last game in Arizona in my opinion, unimpressive fashion on a game that they absolutely could have lost. But they won that game in Arizona 27-23. They did not cover the 7-point spread there. Meanwhile, the Pittsburgh Steelers, as we mentioned earlier, lost in a exciting, thrilling Thursday night football game against the Cincinnati Bengals. They lost by 2 points in Cincinnati in that game. But that said, the Steelers are still sitting atop the division at 4-2, and the Packers are sitting atop their division, the NFC North, at 4-1 by virtue of not having a second loss because they have a tie. The Packers are again 3-point favorites heading on the road to Pittsburgh. Ant, we'll start with you. You said this is a lock for you, so where you leaning?
Yeah, it is definitely a lock. This is the Aaron Revenge Bowl. Even though he didn't say that he's not upset at anybody. He's not looking for no revenge. Yeah, he's not looking for no revenge against the team or the coach or whatever. He's talking about the executives in the office or whatever. But he's not going to say that out loud. And I'm just going to say it for him. The Packers are the last team that Aaron has never faced. He's coming home. He's getting that Packers win because so he can say that he beat all 32 teams in the NFL. So I'm going to go with Aaron Rodgers. I'm going to lock this in with the Steelers, and I'm taking it over in this one. This is definitely going to be a good game. We're going to quite as far as for the Packers is concerned, this is basically Aaron Rodgers' teacher. Jordan Love is the student, and Aaron Rodgers knows that whole team as far as the offense, as far as the defense, as far as he knows the coach and everything on that team. So I wouldn't be surprised Aaron is giving classes this week. And if you don't think so, Aaron Rodgers got a good memory. He can remember games from back in his rookie year and every single play. And I've seen him recall those things. So he definitely knows exactly that team inside and out. They're not going to have nothing for him. Definitely lock it in, everybody. There's another mortgage game. Put your mortgage on this. Steelers in the over in this one. Lock it in.
I like your moxie there, and I'm gonna lock in the Steelers here as well. I think that this is so. The first thing I'll say is Micah Parsons made his entire contract in that game against the
Yeah,
Arizona Cardinals. If
Cardinals. He
he
was
doesn't
crazy.
do that game, if he's not on that game, the Packers lose that game. He went absolutely bananas in that game and completely wrecked it. And if you want to know what a game wrecking situation looks like, just watch the fourth quarter, like the last 5 to 6 minutes of that game against Arizona, where they were definitely within striking distance, and he like felt like every time they mentioned that Parsons was on the field, he did something, right? So yeah, Parsons is a game wrecker, and obviously, Aaron Rodgers knows that. He's one of the smartest, if he's one of the smartest, if not the smartest quarterback in the NFL. He won't give Micah Parsons a chance in hell to get to him. He will be getting rid of that ball as fast as humanly possible. He will be forcing them to play his brand of football. And we don't typically get Mike Tomlin at home with points. That just doesn't typically happen, even when the Steelers aren't a very good team. And I don't think they're a very good team right now, but I think they're, very, very interesting in this game against the Packers, who I also think are a very good team, but they're not playing their best ball at the moment. So I'm going to take the Steelers. I'm going to blink the under, and I'm going to lock them in as my fourth lock of the week. Aaron Rodgers did also say in an interview, I think sometime this week, that he wants to retire a Packer, which probably means that once he's done, he'll sign like a 1-day deal with the team and then retire or something along those lines, which I don't even know if they do that in the NFL, but whatever. He does want to retire a Packer. So
Yeah, they
this,
do. I forgot what running back the Dallas Cowboys did that with.
okay. So he still
Emmitt
has
Smith.
love for the organization.
Oh yeah, you're right, Emmitt Smith.
Still has love for the organization and wants to do that. But yeah, Steelers under, lock it in. Levon.
You guys hit, and especially hit on all the storylines. I thought we were doing pregame for the show the way he was going. Um, but yeah, I like the Steelers in this one for everything you guys said. The Packers, even though they're at the top of the whole National Football Conference because of that tie and only the one loss, they are a classic underachieving team. The only impressive win they've had all season was the opening one against the Lions. Everything else has been rather lackluster. And I don't see Pittsburgh giving up all of the cushion and the goodwill they worked up away by losing 2 games in a row and letting Cincinnati closing that gap on them like that. So I like the Steelers in this one. I like the Steelers, but I'm not locking it in.
Ace.
And that's why you're not going to go 5-0 this week. I'm locking in the Pittsburgh Steelers, Rogers revenge game. And the Steelers and Green Bay is also 0-3 on the road. 0-3. 0-3 against the spread on the road. Their only loss is on the road. Give me the Steelers. Rodgers threw for 4 touchdowns against the Jets. He might throw for 6 against the Packers. I think when he said he wanted to retire a Packer, he wants to retire the Green Bay Packers, and he'll be doing that in this game. Give me the Steelers.
All right. Last but not least.
And lock it in.
Last but not least, the Washington Commanders going to Kansas City to play the Chiefs on Monday Night Football. The spread here is 12.5, and the over-under is 47. I will go first. This is my final lock of the week. The Chiefs ain't losing this game at home against the Commanders and Marcus Mariota. Jaden Daniels is not playing in this game. He's already been ruled out for this game. He has not practiced all week. His hamstring situation is definitely bothering him, so he will not play. This is a Monday night primetime situation for the Chiefs at home. Yeah, I just don't think Marcus Mariota is going to get it done. This has nothing to do with cheating or scandals or anything along those lines. I just don't think the Washington Commanders have enough on defense to stay with what the Chiefs can do offensively. And on offense, I don't, because of all the injuries that they also have on their team, Terry McLaurin and Debo Samuel. They were out last week. I don't see them on the injury report this week, so they may be back, but I don't believe it. I don't believe that matters all that much. So, yeah, they're both practiced. They both practice fully on Thursday, so they'll both likely be back. which bodes well for potential fantasy options for Marcus Mariota, but I don't think it means anything in terms of winning the football game. I think the Commanders will be playing from behind for most of it, and I think the Chiefs will roll to another victory and remain at the top of everybody's power rankings. So I'll take the Chiefs, I'll take the over, and I'm locking that in as my final lock of the week. Ace, over to you.
Give me the Washington Commanders. I'm gonna take the commies. Terry McLaurin has practiced in full. Debo Samuel was a full participant in practice. The only person not playing is Jaden Daniels. Marcus Mariota will play and can play. They have Von Miller, they got Daron Payne, they got Laramie Tunsil. Jeffrey Simmons. Their offensive tackle for the Kansas City Chiefs is still out. That's Simmons. I don't know his first name, but
Josh Simmons.
Okay, Josh Simmons. And Taylor also has an injured knee, who's the other offensive tackle. They will not cover this spread. They will win this game. They will beat them by 10. They will not beat them by 13. They will not beat them by 14. Give me the commies to cover.
And
If Marcus Mariota can play, he would still be starting for his original team that drafted him. Give me the Kansas City Chiefs. JD's not playing. Checks are cleared with the refs. And Taylor Swift might show up. So give me the Chiefs and the over.
You have your own investigation going on with the Chiefs and the refs?
And Taylor. And Taylor.
And
Taylor Swift. Do not forget the Taylor Swift influence.
That was Taylor Swift. I thought it was like a Lawrence Taylor shout out, like the Giants announcer. And Taylor in on the tackle.
No, that's the remix version. We're not talking about Lawrence here. We're talking about the remix version. You know, we call Marriage Gate is still going on.
What? What are these random conspiracy theories you're talking about?
Let's get your pick for the
Marriage Gate. Taylor Swift and what's her name? Kelsey.
Okay.
They get married for the Super Bowl.
Cool.
Yeah.
My tinfoil hat stuff works before. You know, that's the reason why I got to talk about the refs now. Anyway.
Okay. Yeah, I'm with Malik on this. Kansas City got Rice back, showed, why that was important against the Raiders last week. Washington is old. I said this before the season started.
We all said this.
This team is old, and the reason why people gave them so much credit was because of their quarterback. And I said that was just 1 year. It was his rookie year. We need to see him do it again. And so far, he's been injured because he's frail and he's slight. And when you get hit in the NFL and you're slight, you're going to get hurt. And then I like Jaden. He's got some talent. He's got good arm talent, gets rid of the ball quick, processes quickly. But it's inevitable you're going to get hit in this league. You're going to get hit. And if he doesn't find a way to put on some pounds, he's not going to last very long. It's just a sad fact. But yeah, that defense is old. I don't know how many times. What was the cornerback who used to play for the Saints? Lassiter.
You said it right, Marshawn Lattimore.
He can't cover anyone anymore. He's grabbing for dear life anytime his receiver goes anywhere near him and the ball is up in the air. Wagner can't catch anybody in the open field, and only thing the Chiefs know how to do is put guys in space and put defenders in conflict. And this game is in Kansas City, and it's prime time, which even though I don't like to feed into Ant's narratives, yes, the world is watching. The refs will be on team time, and I'm pretty sure the Chiefs are going to get, if not 1, 2, or 3 calls to go in their favor. This is a lot of
Am
points.
I lying? The last game, Chiefs didn't even get no calls.
This is a lot of points, but I think the Chiefs are trying to prove a point, and they are trying to climb back into that seat at the top of the division, and keep hitting on that Patrick Mahomes window, which he's 30 now. I just saw a graphic that says he's actually finally 30 years old. So they want to take advantage of this window and get as many Super Bowls as they possibly can. Now Washington's losing this game. That's a given. And I'm locking this in as my last lock. I think they get handled. On Monday night. That's my 5th and last lock.
Do I have 5 locks, Malik?
Yeah, you do.
You do.
Two
Okay.
of them are pretty flimsy. Three of them have a
I'm about,
chance.
Thanks,
I'm about to
Malik.
run. I'm about to. All right, that's it for the week. Running down our locks once again. Ace is locking in the Panthers, the Bengals, the Eagles, the Cowboys, and the Steelers. Ant is locking in the Bills, Bengals, Patriots, Buccaneers, and the Steelers. I'm locking in the 49ers, Eagles, Colts, Steelers, and Chiefs. And Levon is locking in the Falcons, the Bills, the Giants, the Colts, and the Chiefs. All right, before we roll out of here, let's get over to our shout outs. And I feel like you have been waiting for a long time to shout out your team's owner. I'm going to start with you.
Oh no, I'll save him for a little bit. Shout outs first to that Jets fan or that poor kid that they actually had an interview that he went viral. Poor kid actually literally came out and said that he hates this team because they asked him when he came out, he's like, "How do you feel to be a Jet fan or this game, whatever?" He's like, "I hate this team, blah blah blah," and I feel sad. I really feel bad for him because I know daggone well, just looking at him, he has never seen his team win. So I know he's pissed off. I feel his pain, but you know what? The best part is that he said, he was born into it. He's going to stay with a Jet fan. He doesn't hop around like Ace does and go to different teams when his team sucks. Shout outs to him. Shout outs to Russell Wilson for growing a pair of balls. But I really hate I really hate Peyton. Everybody knows that I hate Sean Payton. Ever since he came out thinking that he's the hot shit. First he called out former Jets offensive coordinator, former Broncos head coach, whatever. The guy does suck, but you don't throw another coach under the bus. Now he's trying to do the same thing to Russell Wilson. And Russell Wilson basically just said classless, but not surprised. Did not realize that you're still bounty hunting 15 plus years later through the media. Let's ride.
That
Good
was a
shit,
good
Russell
line.
Wilson. That was definitely a good line. And Coach Sean Payton was trying to back it up today, back step today, trying to say, he didn't meant it that way. He was whatever, man. Fucking garbage. But anyway, shout outs to you as well. Shout outs to Woody Johnson as well. Yes, I'm not going to go into a full tangent on that classless ass owner. Shout outs to him. Can't wait till you finally quit unalive or something like that.
Wow.
Because I'm sick of you. I wish I hope you're in the Epstein files so they can haul your ass away.
I heard him building up to it. It was hoping he wasn't going there, but he went there.
Good God.
I'm tired of this dude.
That's why I knew Ant was on one today, boy.
He could not help himself. He could have just, did a generic answer, call it a day. But he was trying to pretend to be a Timu ass version of Jerry Jones and trying to come to the mic, throwing his fourth quarterback under the bus. Fourth quarterback. This dude not only threw under Justin Fields, he threw Aaron Rodgers under the bus last year. He threw Zach Wilson under the bus, and he threw Mike White under the bus. A lot of people don't know about the Mike White thing. Mike White got his spleen torn in half by Milano, whatever his name is, for the Bills. And then the next game, he basically played horrible because, he was playing hurt. And this jackass came in there talking about, you suck and all that stuff like that while this guy was in the locker room in front of everybody there, throwing him under the bus on that time. How about, you do something? The Colts got a better owner than you. She's literally just there paying attention to the team, listening to the plays calling and stuff like that, actually giving real good suggestions, unlike him. But anyway, shout outs to him. Oh yeah, and my last shout out goes to somebody that we all know and love. Unfortunately, Laurent wasn't a part of this, but shout outs to Christoph Porzingis. He said that he was going to try to make it today, but unfortunately he couldn't make it, because he got to go to his games or whatever. So shout out to Christoph Porzingis. Unfortunately, we're trying to see if we can book you in next week. That's my shout outs for the week. Mic drop.
All right. I'm going to go next. Ace right here. Shout out to Monty Quinn of Curry College, which is a Division III school. My man ran for 522 yards in the game. And if you want to know how many carries he got 20 carries. 20 carries, 522 yards. That is the amazing stat of the day. He needs to move up a couple of divisions. He's got like four of the top five rushing games in the history of Curry College. He averaged 26 yards a carry. 26 yards a carry. And they beat that team 63-7 or something insane like that. So shout out to you, Monty Quinn. I guess you don't want to play at a higher level in college to try to go to the pros. I don't know. You're playing Division III ball and you're just dominating. You didn't even want to step up to 1AA or FCS. They probably could have used you if you're that good. You made a little bit of money, who knows? But I guess they didn't recruit you for whatever reason. But shout out to you, my man. You now have the all-time record in the only 500-yard rushing game in college football history. Shout out to Wolf Blitzer and my UB Bulls for beating up and getting a last-second touchdown to beat UMass last week. Shout out to them. And shout out to all the crazy college football fans and all the crazy college football people who want their coaches fired for whatever reason. We talked about James Franklin a little bit last week. They've now fired Billy Napier after a win. Somehow the head coach of LSU is still employed and the head coach of FSU is still employed because it would cost $100 million to replace him. But yet I feel like they're going to find a way to fire him at Florida State, even though they don't have the revenue to do it. The guy went 13-1. They didn't get there. And, they didn't get into the 14 playoff. They sucked last year and almost ruined my guy's career, but he still made it to the NFL somehow as a quarterback who started at Clemson, which was, I can't remember his name right now, but he played at Oregon State. So shout out to him. And just shout out to the college football fans in general. This has been a very interesting season. I haven't been making a lot of picks. Follow me on the blog if you want to follow me there. I had a couple of 6-1 weeks out of the 7 picks I make each week. And shout out to my New York Knicks for getting the dub on the first year. And all this drama around the NBA season, even though the games have just been amazing and tremendous. So shout out to them for that.
Oh, I forgot one shout out. Shout out to Wimby. He was playing like he had the Elijah One skills, and he had the what's his name, Vince Carter.
I've never seen a 6-foot guy cross someone over and then
yes,
go.
And he had the Allen Iverson crossover. I thought he was about to pull a Timmy Hardaway as well. The way he was crossing over.
He's a human cheat code, but yeah.
Levon, over to you.
Well, Ant just jumped in and stole my shout out by randomly jumping in and going out of turn. Shout out!
Hey, I'm in San Antonio. I can do that.
And there we go again. Shout out to Ace for the lovely format that we have, where we just constantly jump in and steal people's shout outs and talk over people constantly. Way to go, Ace! This programming is A1. I mean, I had something.
It's what we do best.
There we go again. Okay, we're starting over.
That's what we do.
Anyway, shout out to the Knicks. I guess the Knicks. They won yesterday, but no, NBA season has started. The Knicks got a big win. Showed that they are actually going to utilize their bench. They went 11 deep, but it's only one game. Big on New York sports, so hopefully we have a lot to look forward to in a very interesting NBA season. With some changing of the guard, hopefully we get to see the old guard with LeBron being injured and sitting out, and all of those teams we're used to seeing. Hopefully those teams fade away and we get some new blood. OKC was a breath of fresh air last year. Even if it's not the Knicks, I would like to see the next generation, the next wave of NBA stars begin to take center stage. And Wemby is part of that. Paolo is part of that. And the next wave of NBA players to come in. Shout out to my New York Football Giants. do not know, and I haven't thought too hard about this, but I do not know any other team in professional sports that loses in such spectacular fashion. And I don't just mean the games, but just overall when it comes to watching former players going off to have unprecedented success with new teams, or just finding interesting and dramatic fashion in which to drop a game is it tests the fandom quite much. But I would still not root for another team even if you paid me to. So shout out to the New York Giants. Hopefully we can do some more positive things with the season to come. That's all I got.
Hey, Levon,
What?
the Jets say hold my beer. All that BS on the Giants. Jets say hold my beer.
Gotcha.
We've been doing that for decades.
Yes, I think was it the Jets? Was that the graphic that Ant that you sent out, or the New York teams and how long it's been since they won championships? I saw somebody put it out. Somebody put it out recently.
I might have.
Um, so there was a graphic that somebody put on one of our chats about the New York teams and how long it's been, how many days it's been since they won a championship in their respective
But if I may,
Yes.
sport. And I
just
think
really quick, Malik, really quick. I get that, but Saquon, I mean, Zach Wilson didn't go and win a Super Bowl when he
Jonathan
left.
Vilma did.
Who?
Jonathan Vilma.
In that fashion, did Jonathan Vilma like break Ray Lewis's record for tackles and almost win defensive fucking MVP?
They don't
I didn't mean
really-
to curse.
New Madden
I mean,
jumps
but
and stuff like
seriously,
that.
They don't really
keep
track
Are
of
you
the
comparing
defensive
Jonathan Vilma
players.
to Saquon Barkley and what he did last year?
He left
Daniel-
the team and immediately won a Super Bowl
He
and was a star player on
There's a-
defense.
There's a lot of
a
players
star
that
player.
was
He didn't
formerly the
almost
Jets that
win
won Super
MVP and
Bowls.
have a record-breaking season.
oh god.
Saquon
And there's not
was never gonna
highlights
win
of him.
MVP.
He didn't come out with a documentary last week titled Jonathan, where he talks about his freaking Super Bowl and what it took to get there.
Well, I
Not
could bring up
only
Sam
Daniel
Donald, but he didn't go that far. I could
Daniel
bring up Sam
Jones-
Donald, but he didn't go that
Daniel
far.
Jones was a laughing stock
You seem
of
salty?
the league for years. L. Duncan went on and made fun of this man on national TV because he cried at a press conference. And now he is a
Everyone
dark
made fun
horse
of him.
MVP, and the Colts are 6-1, and everyone to love. Listen, Malik, go ahead. What you say?
Sam Donald, Geno Smith.
Look, man, Levon, look. I mean, recent history definitely leans in Levon's favor as it pertains to this situation, and calling
with
out his
soul
team.
crushing history that forever has been the Jets.
Exactly. I mean, like,
And
it's
I don't even remember in high school LeVar was laughing at this stuff.
I don't think you learn what a hard day is, but you're gonna
Yes.
find out, LeVar.
Yes, you're gonna find out.
But at least
I
Levon,
love
at the very,
this.
Levon, at the very least, Levon has something to cheer for with the Jackson Dart, with
Yes.
Scatterbo and what the Giants are.
We got the man who doesn't pass.
Some ascension. All right, I just have 3 quick shout outs. First and foremost, shout out to Don Mattingly, Donnie Baseball. He is if you guys don't know, he is now currently the bench coach on the Toronto Blue Jays, and he's taking his first trip as a baseball professional to the World Series that starts on Friday. Huge Don Mattingly fan, been a fan of his since being a kid, watching him struggle and be the best player on bad teams, and then when the team finally got good, unfortunately we had the baseball strike. Then we lost in 95, and then he retired, and we promptly won. The Yankees promptly won their first World Series in my lifetime in 1996. Or not in my lifetime, but the first one I got to see. And since then, Donnie has been working for different organizations. He's been the head coach of different organizations, and he still hadn't got a chance to get that World Series victory or that World Series experience, and he is now getting ready to get that. So shout out to you. I hope you guys win. I don't want to see the Dodgers win another one. It's not looking good because the Dodgers are really, really good. But we'll see. We'll see. I am rooting at least for Don Mattingly, if not for the Blue Jays, because they play in our division. Shout out to you, Don. Hope things go well for you. Enjoy this moment. I did hear an interview with him recently where he said he's going to enjoy this as most as he possibly can, which is cool.
96 was the first one in your lifetime.
I thought they won at 81.
They went, they lost.
Yeah. Okay. Shout out to this is a double shout out. Anthony shouted out Woody Johnson earlier, and I'm gonna shout out Woody Johnson now because yes, Ant is right about all the things that he says about Woody Johnson and Woody Johnson this, Woody Johnson that. I get it. But there's two things that you get to be when you are old and rich. You get to do two things in your life. You get to blame everybody else for the shit that they do. It pisses you off. And you get to not take accountability for anything you did to cause the situation. And that's exactly what he did with his comments this week. He blamed everybody else and he took zero accountability for being the architect of the entire situation that the Jets find themselves in at this point. So shout out to you for being both ornery and oblivious, just like an old rich man happens to be. Just like old rich men are typically are. You did not disappoint, sir. And
2 years in a row.
Keep doing you. Keep doing you, Woody. Keep doing you. Eventually, you'll sell the team, or some other member of your family will take it over, or to Ant's, Ant will get his wish, and you'll somebody else will take over the reins, and maybe that'll be the day that the Jets are able to move forward. But until then, keep doing you, brother. Keep doing you. Keep enjoying the fruits of your labor, and keep running this team into the ground. And hopefully, Ant can find a second team like Ace did, and enjoy some level of success as a football fan.
Us Jets fans just going to the season not just to expect to not be happy, because that's what it is.
You can always pick a team in the NFC that's pretty good. Just saying.
That is true too. That is true too. I did have another shout out, but I think that's it for me for today. Ace, we out?
We out. That's it. It's a long episode, but I hope you all enjoy it. Please find us wherever you get your podcasts, Spotify, Podcast Addict, TuneIn Radio. Please listen, subscribe, rate us, review us. We appreciate everybody who's listening overseas and in America. And I hope you guys enjoy the show and our picks. We out.